had to wait. I had to go 10 minutes later because we're getting a storm and I had to put my plants up. So I'll give it a second because I know some people were expecting it 2 minutes ago. Hi, hello, how are you? Hey, you guys. Let me show comments. I do want to say, hey, MZ. I agree with a lot of what he said, but I would like to ask him what he contradicts himself, and there's a lot that he's covering his butt and the department's butt. That's what I feel. Because I don't. Hey, Susie. Hey, Jerry. Hey, Michelle. Hey, Cordell. I feel like he's covering some things that you'll see. Oh my gosh. Hey, I guess it's Tinny. I'll say Tinny. he's yeah, he's definitely royal covering something. What I agree with. I agree that Gypsy and Dee Dee scammed. I do. But that's not MVP. That's malingering. You can't if you have Munchausen, factitious disorder, you don't gain there is no profit. You don't do it for money. There's no money involved. And Gypsy was sick. And he did say something about the microdeletion. He doesn't know when that was brought up into the case or if it was before she took her plea deal. And I absolutely believe that the microdeletion was left out of the plea deal. Yeah. Yeah, I was hoping he wouldn't too, Jerry, but I think he doesn't like her. I think he does think he said it, you'll hear it in the very beginning, that she's not learned anything. She's showing, basically, to sum it all up, he's seeing the old Gypsy Rose on repeat and replay. It's starting all over again. That's how he basically put it. So, and I agree. Hey, Ruth. I was waiting just a few minutes before I started. It's a little different on here on my computer instead of my phone. Like I can pause it, go back 15 seconds, whatever, and scroll, and it's not letting me on here. Maybe I just need to log in. Let me see if I can. Oh, I'll just do that. See what it does. Because I mean, I would like, in case y'all have a question. Well, okay. Man. Because I can't even. Okay. Nope, it's not letting me. What? Sign up with Google then. This is already connected to an log. Okay, then log me in, dang it. This is stupid. Okay. Okay. Okay, 1 second, you guys. Whatever. I can't. I'll just pause it. If you guys say wait, I'll just pause it that way. Okay, I'll do it that way. Because it's not letting me. It's annoying. Hold on. What?
I can't remember if it was a seminar I
Hold on.
attended
I
or a
can't
book
even
I
pause
read,
it right now.
but it was about how law enforcement and news
Okay.
reporters.
Sorry, guys. Okay, it's letting me pause it at least. So, hey, Nikki. Okay. So she just started talking. We'll go ahead and we'll listen to like the first couple minutes and then, you know, I wish I could kind of skip forward though on some of it because let me see what Spotify account I'm on. Because there is some things I just don't think, well, you guys might want to listen to it all. So never mind. I'll just do this. Whatever. I'm just annoyed. I'm annoyed. And there's no video. It's just audio. I'll share the screen with you guys, but there is no audio. I mean, no video. Sorry, that there's only audio. Oh my god. That storm has me frazzled. I was worried about my plants. No, I haven't done enough. I started off doing it from my phone. A lot of it, yes, I did do it from my phone, and I just got a computer a few months ago. Hey, Sonia, how are you? This is my computer right here. I wish I had a removable camera though. Speed, I can't even do speed. That's what I'm saying. Let me enlarge my screen. Maybe if I do that, it'll let. Oh, wait, I see it. It is down here. I see it. Thank God. Maybe because, let me see if I can speed it up. It's not giving me, let me pull it down some of the screen. No. But it's not logging me in here, and it should. For some reason, it's not from my phone. So I can at least pause it and skip forward. How about that? At least I can do that. I've listened to it earlier today. Hey, Arista. There is a video on YouTube. Did she download it? Because she said she wasn't going to do it. Let me go to her YouTube really fast. If that's on there, I'll do it that way. But I think she got like a ton of backlash. Not backlash. People were upset because they felt misled. She's a podcaster, though. And not every podcaster uploads videos. She doesn't. So let me go see. Maybe she did. I know she was doing little shorts, but I didn't see. Okay, here it is. All right. If it's on there, we'll do it that way. Oh, she did. Okay. Yes. This is so much easier. Thank you. I didn't know she had. She hadn't when I listened to it. I checked. But I listened to it as soon as she dropped it. So, okay, let me add it back. I don't know. I haven't even looked at my email. I don't know if they are or not, Donna. I should. I ignore all that because I get hacked. I've been hacked, not recently, but like maybe 5 years ago. I tend to not click anything, no links, no nothing, because that's where I, just screw myself every time. I have a shirt on, guys. Look how cute it is, though. It's like a little baby doll shirt. I like it. I'm making sure. Let me scoot back because, yeah, at least you can see a shirt. Okay, let's go ahead and start. Let me put it back up. And she does have it. I'm so glad she did that. It's so much easier this way. So you guys make sure you like her video. At least she put it up for everybody. Thank goodness.
I can't remember if it was a seminar I attended or a book I read, but it was about how law enforcement and news reporters have similar goals. And that got me thinking, yeah, we both write reports. No, okay. So we both gather information. We both seek facts, try to get to the truth, right? Both interview people, both serve the public, both have to build relationships and harness resources, and both work under deadlines. We do. You work hard to get it right, but at some point, the investigation has to come to an end, and you write that report. What would you name this podcast?
I really have no idea.
Any creative in you?
No, I don't. You're going to have to look at all the other podcasts and stuff that are done and not copy that because I am sure there is so much done on this case. I have friends in other states, and if we travel and have dinner with somebody new that I meet and they like, I know you. People talk about this case a lot.
Greene County Sheriff Jim Arnott sitting down with me for an exclusive interview.
And now with all the new social media stuff, it's Gypsy Rose continued because it's going to always continue until it doesn't. I don't know how she'll end up her career in social media and the media. It probably won't end well. At some point, the newness is going to wear off and people are going to start to figure things out and make their own decisions.
Gypsy Rose continued. You just named it.
There you go.
Okay, so I posted that earlier, and I agree with him on what he says. No, the photos, but that's all Gypsy's eyes. And if you compare her eyes to like Charles Manson and other murderers, their eyes all look alike. Thank you, Ruth. That's what my grandkids say too. I'm like, I love y'all, bless you. All their friends do too. It's funny. So I'm like, you guys, kids can be great sometimes, and then sometimes my grandson said the other day, Nana, you're 50. You've lived over half your life. You're going to die like quicker than us. I'm like, thanks, Cam. Yeah, her eyes have that. If you can, I've showed it before. They have her eyes right beside other murderers' eyes, and they do look alike. I know, they're great. Hey, right, Justin? Her eyes are soulless. So do you guys like the speed, or do you want me to do it at like 1.5 to get through it quicker? Or how do you guys want to do it? They do, Veronica, for sure. Michelle. I'm trying to be super serious this video because I want to be funny. Oh my God.
Sheriff Arnott in Springfield, Missouri leaves for his new role as a U.S. Marshal, appointed by the president. It's quite an honor. Sheriff Arnott has been with the Greene County Sheriff's Office for 37 years, 17 as sheriff. I was a news anchor and breaking news reporter for 26 years in Springfield and covered many sad and heinous cases with him throughout the decades.
A little faster?
I've known him for nearly 30 years. And when I asked if he'd sit down with me for an exclusive interview before he heads into the next chapter of his life, he said yes.
Okay, let me speed it up. I'll put it to 1.5 so it goes through a little bit quicker. And we'll see if that's too fast.
I'm sure he was thinking, out of all the stories you want to talk about, you picked Gypsy? Yeah, I get it. I didn't want to pick Gypsy. I fought it hard. But dang it, she doesn't stop. And what is happening can't be ignored. So let's lay down some groundwork here. Sheriff Arnott has seen exactly 2 episodes of the Lifetime show, Life After Lockup. And it sounds like it was against his will. And I'll admit it's 2 more than I've seen. Thank you to creators who have reviewed clips. I feel like I'm all caught up. He has not followed her social media. And she has blocked me on most platforms. Yeah, so he's not up to speed on all of the web of lies creators have uncovered following the release of the videos and documents from his office under the Freedom of Information Act filed by Into the Weeds podcast. If you go to the YouTube channel, click on More at the top, you'll find the Google Drive that contains everything. I even have sound clips in there from my time as a reporter covering Dee Dee's murder and Nicholas's trial. The public defender and prosecutor.
It became abundantly clear as we went through more and more and more of the records that, Gypsy's mom was abusing her physically, medically.
He says most of Gypsy's teeth aren't her own because of the medication she was forced to take. Greene County Prosecutor Dan Patterson tells me this drop to second-degree murder and 10-year sentence still holds Gypsy accountable for her actions.
While also taking into account the extreme mitigating circumstances of the nearly 20 years of abuse at the hands of her mother.
I can't cover every backstory in this piece. There's simply too much. I encourage you to go look at this stuff for yourself. Come to your own conclusion. As I've said before, I would start with the interrogation videos.
Definitely.
Another thing, his job, Sheriff Arnott, and the job of his investigators was to figure out who murdered Dee Dee Blanchard. Period. Once I really understood that, I was able to put this story into perspective a little more. It didn't stop me from asking him a series of questions he had no answers for, but it did make me better see how we got here. Sheriff Arnott sat with me for a long time, and he answered every question he could, and I appreciate that. And one last point we must never forget. At no time did Claudinia Dee Dee Blanchard deserve to be slaughtered in her bed as she slept by someone Gypsy brought to their home. Full stop.
Okay, so before we start, you guys got to remember too, even Nancy grew up. She met Gypsy. She knew Gypsy before this happened. He knew of her too. I don't think you're going to get many people from that hometown to change their mind, even with the evidence that has came forward. Well, of course, Justin, this is Nancy Simpson. She is the Toll Podcast host, producer, owner. She's the one interviewing the Sheriff Arnott. You're not going to have people, if you want my opinion, I believe Sheriff Arnott was going in that right direction when he started investigating the murder. But I think a lot was stopped by the DA and Mike Stanfield. That's my opinion, because some of the things he says, and I'll get into it, I would just question, okay, well, this, and this. And I don't think he's going to go and say, oh, my team did a horrible job investigating this case. It is a huge case. He's not going to knock his, department for their investigative skills and work, which are questionable. There definitely was some unfair disadvantages for Nick, and he doesn't seem to agree with that. And I'm kind of shocked of his opinion with Nick's outcome and Gypsy's outcome. And even if, we'll get into it. I'm sorry. I just wanted to explain that. Just remember, he knew of her. Nancy knew her, met her before it happened. She was always at the radio station trying to get free tickets, stuff like that. So they knew her.
The Toll Podcast. Gypsy Rose continued. The Toll. I'm Nancy Simpson. My first question to Sheriff Arnott was, did you know them?
I knew of them, but I didn't intimately know them, like went to events or anything like that. But I did know of them because they were frequently in the news.
I knew of them too. Dee Dee and Gypsy would often come around the station looking for free tickets to get into big country music concerts. We had a Take Me Backstage contest where you would decorate a t-shirt, and if you got picked, you would, yeah, you guessed it, get to go backstage. I remember Gypsy, no teeth, in her decorated t-shirt, sitting in her wheelchair. It was the Keith Urban concert. She's in her 20s at this point, looking like 12. I went up to her and I know I was like, I like your pink boots. Did you make that shirt yourself? Can I take a picture of you with your wheelchair? That's really my only Gypsy story, though. Until the murder. She wrote to and sent videos to Nicholas Godejohn, the man with autism she manipulated for years before getting him to Springfield to stab her mother to death while Dee Dee slept in her bed. Gypsy wrote to him that she was a local celebrity. Yeah? No? Yeah?
I would not classify her as a local celebrity, but both her and her mom did a lot to draw attention to themselves, so I could see where they felt that way.
Gypsy did fly all over the U.S., being a kind of motivational speaker of sorts, attending conferences, getting a lot of attention in certain circles, trips to Disney World, throwing out the first pitch here in Springfield, getting a lot of attention. As the murder investigation unfolded at the house on Volunteer Way north of the Springfield city limits,
I just want to say really fast, you've heard people talk about Gypsy, and even Gypsy saying, well, I wasn't schooled, I wasn't well articulated and didn't know how to speak or say what I mean. But she's traveling around the world giving, doing these talks and lectures at all these other places. She definitely was homeschooled. We see that. We saw that in the FOIA evidence. She knows. She's not dumb, but she knew how to speak if she was going all around the world talking at colleges and doing all these speeches. Yes. How can you say that she can't articulate or she never could speak for herself, that Dee Dee did it all for her, when even the neighbor said she spoke really well? And Dee Dee really didn't talk for her unless she was sick. So I wanted to hi, Fire and Eyes. Joke.
a woman named Marcia said she was Gypsy's adopted grandma. Told the deputy how amazed she was of this little girl. She wasn't a little girl, by the way. Gypsy was a month away from being 24.
Gypsy, literally is the type of child that just she stands in front of 1,000 people and can give a speech and not scared of it. She's not fearful, right? And she's friendly. She's polite to everybody.
I asked Sheriff Arnott about those first critical moments of the investigation.
What we really try to do is keep an open mind and not get tunnel vision or narrowly focused on something. So we were keeping everything open until the evidence or the facts that we learned would put us in a different direction. So, we were keeping an open mind up until the point of, as we were actively looking. We were on horseback. We had volunteers everywhere. We have put out lots of media stuff where I was holding press conferences pretty regular to try to get the information out there, because as you know, any type of murder, we need a quick turnaround. And when we had what we thought to be an abduction, also, and maybe a possible another murder, I was very concerned about that. So, being a detective, most of my career time is of the essence, and so we were moving as quick as possible, working straight through trying to figure out the information.
He says it was all hands on deck.
We put everybody into this investigation. It wasn't just one investigator assigned. It was the whole division of investigators, over 20 investigators working on this.
No, Lulu, there was, and Sheriff Arnott confirms that they were all scamming and involved with different scams, and that it was even the family and friends. That is the main reason people would not come forward and talk, was because they were all scamming money in some way. Just like you just saw on Becca's interview with the Blanchards, they were scamming Social Security. They were taking their mother's stuff, and they went and bought a brand new car, and I don't remember, but they did a bunch just so Social Security would pay for her nursing home thing. They went and did what they weren't supposed to do, and got a ton of money, got their house fixed, got their roof fixed, just all kinds of stuff. But he said that a lot of her friends, a lot of her family, especially family, were scamming. So Dee Dee learned. It's a learned behavior for Dee Dee too, which kind of upsets me, because you're blaming Dee Dee for Gypsy's learned behavior, but Dee Dee, it's just Dee Dee's fault because she came from a family of scammers and grifters too. So, me too, Justin. Oh, yes, they are, Lulu. But, I mean, that's coming from the sheriff.
As fast as we can to reach some kind of resolution.
Everyone, it seemed, was locked in as this all unfolded.
The clues come to us in Facebook, and those things started to develop when we started tracking IP addresses, and we started checking things because of the mysterious messages that came out on her mom's Facebook page. And that's when everything kind of opened up to us.
That was the big pivotal point.
That was a big pivotal point.
Gypsy wrote these.
Yes.
Those Facebook messages posted after the murder, the ones that had friends and family very concerned. They then alerted authorities. One read, "That bitch is dead," and the other, "I fucked her and raped her sweet, innocent daughter. Her scream was so loud. LOL." Arnott says investigators tracked the couple, Gypsy and Nicholas, to Nick's family's home in Wisconsin.
Hey, we've got information. We've got eyes on. No, nobody in a wheelchair. Everybody walked into the house and have been walking out. That was something. That's not right. That's not who we're looking for. I guess we got the wrong person. But then when they made entry, got her in custody, walked her out, and we talked to the detectives right then. They're like, yeah, she can walk fine, and this is her for sure. That was a huge thing. What do we have? What have we started to unravel? Because all the information we have from, whether it's news media stories or the neighbors, is she can't walk, she's in a wheelchair, she may have cancer, she may have this problem, that problem, a host of issues. But then we find out medical issues start to unravel where there's really not very many, and then she can walk. And we got the information hooking her up with Go to John, and we checked on his history, the history he had. We started to look at that and go, we got something very bizarre here.
His history of an indiscretion involving his computer at McDonald's. Then information started rolling in.
Once we started putting some of that information out, that is when information started flooding in from everywhere. Louisiana, Missouri, Kansas. That information started coming in on, hey, do you know this? Hey, do you know that? Hey, we had this incident. And that's when it got really complicated. I'm going to start off with saying things are not always as they appear.
When you said in that moment, things are not always as they appear, that statement, what did you mean in that moment? What did that mean to you?
You've known me for a long time at press conferences and just talking. I don't speak with a lot of notes. I may have some talking points, but that really wasn't one of them. That was something that I developed when I just started talking. When I initially opened it up, because the issue is everybody thinks, oh my gosh, what happened to Gypsy? She's a victim. And then my thoughts were, things are not always as they appear. You may think that this person's a victim when it's just the absolute opposite. This person's a suspect.
Sheriff Arnott says when people first meet him, many have one main question about this case.
When did you know that she was alive and it was all good? Well, it's when I stepped out of the command post and made an announcement that she was located. I mean, that's when I knew, then. So they want to know, when did you know that there was something up? Well, I knew that she was alive and I knew that she was walking. And then 5 minutes later, I walked out and gave a press conference to the media that was there. And so, yeah, that's probably the biggest, and then the twists and turns. Everybody's always curious about, were they a hurricane victim? Were they?
Okay, you guys listen to this. This absolutely blows my mind what he says right here when we've dug through it now and confirmed they were actually victims of Hurricane Katrina. That actually happened, right? He doesn't care. He doesn't know. It just depends on who you believe because they don't know. You're the police. You're telling me you can't figure out if they were actual victims of Hurricane Katrina? I'm mind blown. Oh my God. I don't know. It's stuff like this that kind of make me like, wait, what? What do you mean? I'm confused. Right here's where he kind of like, there was my first like little red flag, like, oh, this interview is not going to go the way I thought. I mean, it does and it doesn't. I'll say that.
Honestly, I can't tell you. I mean, yes, that places them in that time, but what do you believe and who do you believe?
I believe the cops.
You didn't tell us the truth.
I was at the main press conference back in the sheriff's office. You can hear me ask a question at one point. I was like, was this guy Nick the mastermind? Turns out no. Just watch any of those dozens of videos Gypsy made Nick to lure him here to kill her mom. The sheriff says he was on to Gypsy from the get-go. The Gypsy we're seeing now is a repeat. It's continued.
What a lot of folks did not see is, I think, probably the level of not caring and, posting the things on her Facebook, which those things that if you were a grieving daughter, you would not be posting. And so to come back out later and say, oh my gosh, I felt so bad that this happened. But at the time and right after, you see videos of her in a hotel room not feeling that way. So that's probably the side that a lot of folks did not see and are seeing more of it nowadays, that records are open and people are digging stuff and things are being released. You see a little bit more of that side that you would probably consider when you made a judgment.
Ah, that video from the days in. But Sheriff Arnott does not disregard the Munchausen by proxy aspect of this case.
Okay, so we're going to get into that part right here, the Munchausen by proxy. He absolutely believes Dee Dee had Munchausen. I want to question this, though. If Dee Dee had Munchausen, how is it you're saying it's all a scam and all a con? That's not Munchausen. That is malingering. You guys, the sheriff doesn't know the difference between malingering and Munchausen. If it's true Munchausen by proxy or factitious disorder, there is no financial gain because that's not what it's about. It's about the mother wanting attention, being this hero, needing attention from her sick, dying child, making that child sick. Dee Dee wasn't making her sick. She was, I'm going to say this. Do I think Dee Dee scammed and conned? I do. I'm not going to sugarcoat that part and say I don't, because I do. I think she took advantage of any financial, whatever there was out there. I believe she took advantage of it. But I'm going to say this. If she's such this con artist and such a bad person, when Rod she thought Rod sent her $100 extra in the child support, why did she immediately contact him and say, they paid me $100 extra. They paid me $600 instead of $500. What do you want me to do? I can send it back to you. And he clarified that she was getting $600 now because he was making more money. If she was this biggest con artist, this big scammer all the time, why wouldn't she just keep the $100 extra from Rod, especially because he was never around? Why wouldn't she keep that? But I don't want to get off too far. I'm just saying Munchausen has nothing to do with financial gain, has nothing to do with conning for financial gain or grifting. None of that. So I'm a little confused by what he's saying here because that's malingering. Dee Dee didn't make Gypsy sick. Gypsy was sick. But I'm not. I'll just let y'all hear it because I'm like, what?
case. He believes me when I talk about all that's been uncovered, but his stance remains that Dee Dee kept control over Gypsy and scammed people out of money.
Gosh, there are so many perspectives on that case. I don't know where to start. Some people, there's an element of victimization towards Gypsy Rose, the way that she was manipulated by her mother, and what you'd look as a classic Munchausen syndrome by proxy case with some weird twist to it. So this is how I look at it. You know, in law enforcement, I know generational families that commit the same crimes that grandpa was in, dad
Not
was
as
in
long
jail,
as her.
and now, you know, the son's in jail, and I see the generational things that they pick up, and they do the same thing to end up in jail or prison. You have to look at this case pretty much the same way. She has turned into her mom. She's doing the manipulation. She is doing those things. And so how much of that is she responsible?
Did y'all hear that? Gypsy has turned into her mom. And she is manipulating. I mean, he's not wrong. Do you hear that, Gypsy? You have turned into your mother, the woman that you blame everything on. I have heard that too, God. I have. She turned into, here's the thing. She didn't just turn into her mom. She turned into Rod, Christy, her grandmother, her grandfather. Everybody in her life was some kind of con artist. Her cousin Bobby, he was a con artist. So that entire family and the people around them, they all scammed in some sort of way. Does it justify murder? No. Does it justify her shooting her? No. And that's well, I was going to say that later, Lulu, but you're right. We'll just go ahead and put that out there. There's a difference in what Gypsy's doing and what Dee Dee did. Dee Dee wasn't violent. Dee Dee didn't try to hurt anybody. Well, the pizza guy, she got mad and jerked his shirt over a coupon. But tell me in your life, somewhere along your life, you have did something where you haven't shoved somebody out of the way or gotten angry and pushed them away, shoved their arm, whatever. At some point, I would never do it to a stranger, but you know, I wouldn't do that. But you can't tell me that's never happened in your life. So they're going to take that one situation and make that a whole, like that's Dee Dee's whole life. No, everybody that knew her said she was really kind, soft, and gentle, and never abused Gypsy like that. Even Gypsy said it. Gypsy changes that like she changes her personality. So,
Well, for how much is that a total influence and manipulation by your mom? You've got to figure that out for yourself, and that's why we have the justice system to make those decisions. That's what juries do, and that's what judges do. So you just present the information that you have and let that decision be made.
He talks about how the case evolved as his investigators started digging.
I can tell you nothing surprises me anymore. So in this case, when it evolved so quickly into us learning some of the great big things, and then we started learning the smaller things were they in Hurricane Katrina? You know, I know they were in the area, but were they truly a victim, or did they just take advantage of a free ride to Springfield, Missouri to start a new path of lies and destruction? I can't tell you. At one point, I told the investigators, once we got to a point, I said, stop investigating. There is nothing more. We have to work on, we just need to present the murder case. And that's what our case was about.
And back to the Greene County Sheriff's Office with Sheriff Jim Arnott at the top. They had one job: find out who killed Dee Dee Blanchard and turn that over to the prosecutor.
We are not doing a mini-series on how big this is, because that's what it would take to take it all up and uncover it. They also took advantage of Hurricane Katrina and medical records lost and all these kind of things. But there is a lot of truth to that. There's something I couldn't dig up there because records were lost. But how?
Okay. A lot of people took advantage of Hurricane Katrina, but they did get some of the medical records from Hurricane Katrina too. So again, it's shocking to me that people did confirm and we found out they were victims of Hurricane Katrina, but he says he doesn't know. You have every source available to you right in front of you as a sheriff, a cop, police department to find all this out, but you didn't. He basically did. All he says is all that doesn't matter. Even the scamming, eventually he'll say that didn't matter. It was just the murder. And I agree. But the way that it ended and who the sentencing and how I'll get to it. I don't want to, if you haven't heard, I don't want to spoil it, but I just disagree with some of it. But a lot of it, I do agree with them. I do believe Dee Dee scammed. I do, but I still don't think that makes her a bad person. I think she did what a lot of people do. And it still happens today. And she spoiled her child. Gypsy was never held accountable. And I think Gypsy turned out the way she was because Dee Dee never made Gypsy be accountable for any of her behaviors. She knew Dipsy. Dipsy. She knew Gypsy was dangerous. You'll never not convince me of that.
Far back the manipulation goes. And then who do you believe? Do you believe the dad that just now started coming around when things ramped up in the media? Dad is all involved in that and tells one story. It is hard to disseminate what is truth and what is a lie. Like,
how? You're a cop.
We'll come back to that.
You know, there is two sides to that. But unfortunately, when you see a very dark side of somebody that's pretty deliberate, in my opinion, you know, you've got to just let somebody else decide that. And that is the judge and the jury's decision to make, whichever direction they go. And it's so complicated of a case because you want to be sensitive to where she was a victim. You want to be sensitive to some of those things because having your teeth removed and having, you know, to take drugs to where your hair falls out and things like that, the things that we believe her mother did do versus exactly what she planned out with Nick Godejohn and helped execute it and then celebrated it.
Did you hear him? Her mother made her teeth and hair fall out by forcing the medications that she took. The sheriff said this. He didn't look at the medical records. Detectives and the DA did. How little Miss Dangerous? I am blown away that this sheriff has all these resources and can look into anything he wants, even now. And he is still going to die on that hill that Dee Dee abused her by pulling her teeth. Nancy does counter him with that, and he just blows it off like, well, you could look at it that way, and you know, this or that. But what's crazy is that the FOIAs and the evidence that has came out now, the people who have looked into the evidence, he doesn't even know what we know. They didn't even look that far into it. It blows my mind. And I just told you guys, there's an EEG that came back abnormal for Gypsy, and it showed she did have seizures. And the EEG is not going to show up with the abnormal readings unless she has seizures. It's plain as day. How did Dee Dee fake that? How did Dee Dee make that machine show an abnormality for Gypsy's EEG? I just want to know. And Gypsy was an adult when she had her teeth pulled. She signed that little paper, not Dee Dee. Gypsy did that, not Dee Dee. That's where I'm getting angry, is because they blame everything on Dee Dee. But I feel like he's doing this to cover his butt because they screwed up, and he doesn't want to admit they screwed up that case. And I'll get more into it, but
Afterwards. So where do you lie on that? Where's the middle ground?
I push back on what happened with her teeth.
So, okay, the things that I have seen and the things I've gone through,
go
she
Nancy.
has said several times that she drank Pediasure through a bottle as an adult. Her medical records say that she had bad oral hygiene. That was the reason the teeth were rotting out of her mouth. And when Dee Dee took her to the dentist, she was an adult, right? So she signed for her teeth to get pulled out because they were so bad. And a dentist doesn't just yank all of your teeth out. And so I think I see it differently. I see it as Gypsy's an adult. She's done things that have, you know, progressed her teeth to this condition, and she had to have them pulled. Is that not how you see it?
It's so, at this point, it's so speculative. Now you're talking years later, these newer stories come out and you go, oh, well, yeah, that makes sense. But as far as the criminal investigation, it splintered off into so many of those things that is something we got overwhelmed with the directions the case was going. And so obviously we can't prosecute Dee Dee for child abuse. So we don't need to look at that. What we need to look at is what took place, what the actions were, what the evidence showed, and then try to gather as much background as possible.
Okay, that makes no sense. They were overwhelmed and there were too many directions. Then you slowly look into every direction and you build a case. That's where I'm kind of like, wait, what? And they had a ton of help. So I'm confused with that. I agree. So which direction did he go? Just the murder. But, you know, they had to figure out the background. Well, Arnott is not looking into Gypsy's medical the abuse allegations, that background should be looked into. That direction should have been the first direction. The scamming should have been the first direction. How do you get to the why? That's where I'm getting angry. Okay, we know they murdered Dee Dee. You want the why to it, then go into every direction, get all the evidence, put all the facts together, and lay it out to the DA. But he said Mike Stanfield did that. Well, we know Mike Stanfield is a scummy lawyer, and he agrees that Mike's behavior is questionable. He doesn't like it. I agree. That I agree with, Lulu. I agree with you there. But he said we can't charge Dee Dee. Okay, no, you can't. But why would you even say that when she's already dead? That has nothing to do. Oh my God. Why is charging Dee Dee with fraud? I mean, if she signed something or didn't, I don't know. I'm getting so flustered. I'm not saying the right thing. So I'll shut up because I know I'm going to like trip over my words. I do that when I get angry, or not angry, but just flustered.
But to run down all the rabbit holes was just crazy. I mean, it just became so overwhelming for the investigators.
And I guess another way to look at it, did Dee Dee give her that bottle? Fill it full of Pediasure, buy it for her? I mean, there's so many stories and versions of stories now. But Arnott reiterates, none of that mattered to him.
Why doesn't that matter? That's the whole reason Gypsy did it. Why does none of that matter? Doesn't that prove medical abuse? If you can say, okay, yeah, Dee Dee forced her to drink from a bottle, would not let her eat food. Doesn't that matter? I would think that matters. I don't know, man. Yes, Lulu, exactly. How does that not matter? I don't know. I just disagree with some of the things he says, and then I agree with a lot that he says, but I disagree. I think it does matter. And every rabbit hole, the rabbit holes didn't start until she was released. I mean, if you think about it, Gypsy didn't really pop off in her. I mean, everybody's looked into her story, but I can promise you, nobody really knew her, like, say, 6 years ago, like they do now. The rabbit holes, this is where the rabbit holes have started. This is where it's really started. You can't tell me that there were that many rabbit holes back then. I mean, I'm sure there were a lot of theories, but not like now. And there weren't people digging into it then like they are now. There was really nothing. There was online chatter, I feel. There was definitely online chatter, but they don't have to look at online chatter. I don't know. I think they should have went down every rabbit hole and looked into all the evidence, but he didn't.
We had a meeting and it was like, what do you want us to follow up on? What direction, what direction should we go? And at one point, like I said, we just said, we need to stop. I mean, it's none of those investigations, although it's fraudulent behavior. It's, obviously lying and taking money from places that didn't need to get money, but there was no money to give back. So it's not like we're going to be able to award anybody any money back. And Dee Dee, who is probably the most guilty of those things, is gone. And then we have Gypsy. How much do you dig? Now, the investigators will tell you after maybe watching some of the episodes and miniseries she's come up with that, they can't believe how far it's gone. Could we probably go back and disprove a lot of stories that are coming out now? Probably so. But what does it do? Our part is over. She went to prison. And
oh, did you hear him? Could they go back and disprove a lot of her stories because she's lied? Probably so. But what does it prove? What does it matter? What does it matter? You have Nick in prison for life and she got 8 years. Why does it matter? I think it matters a lot for that reason alone. He admits that she manipulated Nick. She planned it. She did it. She is a manipulator. She did all that. She has no guilt, no remorse, hasn't shown any growth, but he's okay with the sentence she got. What do you mean? And he's okay with the sentence Nick got. What do you mean? If you can go back and disprove a bunch of stuff now because you didn't look into it then, you had this in front of you. Your whole department did. Why didn't you do that? Why? That's why we're frustrated. You say, well, that's, more of the judicial side where, people are angry about the sentence. But as the sheriff and the department, you build that case to push it. It probably wouldn't have mattered, to be honest with you. Patterson was going to kill it down. He was. Somebody bought him off, and I feel like it was HBO. And then you're going to hear something that's going to blow your mind in a minute, too, that I was like, there is no way he just said that, because I was floored. Let me start it.
At that time, and Go to John is still there, so we did our part on the investigation. But as you know,
You did
the
it.
story is so much bigger, and it's not always as it appears.
Sheriff Arnott says his investigators spent about a year looking over this case.
I think we were pretty much complete when the plea deal was made. That was something that we are really not in the loop on that. That is something the prosecutor will work out with the victim and families and that kind of deal. So that was a decision by the prosecutor. Understandably why, but because the main perpetrator is, well, it depends on how you look at it, but Nick Godejohn was the one that actually committed physical murder. So I can see why that the prosecutor made the deal.
I'm by no means a gypsy expert. There are content creators who have spent years uncovering stories, bringing stuff to light, getting cozy with the family and obtaining documents, revealing so many lies. And there's more and more every day. I can recognize there are not endless resources, time, manpower, and money for the sheriff's office to spend on one case when the killers are known. At some point, you have to write that report and turn it over. And I've swayed back and forth on what I believe and what the real story might be here. I've been, oh, poor Gypsy. I've been, whoa, Gypsy was in charge. Wait, we don't know what happened behind closed doors in that house. To now, back to taking a hard look at Dee Dee and her undeniable role in this mess. Dee Dee had fatal flaws when it comes to Gypsy, knowing Gypsy was stealing her meds, her money, now holding her accountable. Instead of calling police when Gypsy shot her several times with a pellet gun in their house, she posted on Facebook that she'd been shot by a man on the Walmart parking lot. Her note, I have the best little nurse, Gyp. It appears Dee Dee was pretty sick at the end, although the neighbor didn't notice any extreme changes. In a message to her friend, Gypsy writes that Dee Dee is suffering from diabetes, glaucoma, liver disease, and Parkinson's. In a video to Nick, Gypsy expresses her frustration that her mother isn't going to help them with rent, how they need a house, a car, and money. Searches on Dee Dee's computer at this time show she planned to kick Gypsy out. It may have answered the big bags of what appear to be clothes in the crime scene photos, and it appears she turned a blind eye to Gypsy's own plan of murder. There's a video from Gypsy to Nick where she shows him she can walk, and she's hid it from everyone, including her mom, until 2011, 4 years before the murder. It's in her book, too. But who says Gypsy was keeping the secret from her mother? Gypsy? We don't believe Gypsy about hardly anything else, so why this? I see pictures of Gypsy, her legs tucked up under her in the wheelchair. There's a video where she flops off the porch into the snow. Her legs.
I want to say, why do we believe Gypsy on the wheelchair thing? And I'll say this again. I don't think Dee Dee didn't know for the entire time. I do think for right after she had the seizure and surgery and she faked it, I do think she lied to her mom for a couple years. I do. I believe that. I believe she did that for, I don't know, a few years. But I do know Dee Dee knew she could walk. The entire neighborhood knew she could walk. Rod and Christy knew she could walk. I think she downplayed, no, let me take that back. I think she used that as a manipulation tactic to get money, to scam, to grip, to con people, to make them pity her and give her more. Just like Nancy saying, she came into the radio station to win the concert tickets of, oh my gosh, he was married to Miranda Lambert. I can't remember. I don't know why. Now he's married to Gwen Stefani. And they won. She met him. It was backstage tickets. She knew getting in that wheelchair that she was going to get sympathy. She was going to get more money and gifts and, be that local celebrity. And I think Dee Dee went along with it. I think she did anything Gypsy wanted. I think Dee Dee spoiled Gypsy to death, literally. That's the problem. I don't think it was Dee Dee being so mean and abusive, because you'll hear in a minute, they didn't even know she had the microdeletion. He doesn't even know when that came into play, if it was even before the plea deal was given. How do you not know that? I'm sorry, what? And in the plea deal, it's very generic. You can't see what's in it, just a basic generic plea deal. I do think that was left out. It's left out of well, Mike Stanfield, when he's talking about it, I don't know if it's left out in Mommy, Dad, and Dearest, but Patterson refuses to talk to anybody. And I just, for some reason, I feel like HBO paid him off, or they just screwed up so bad they're just covering their butts. I don't know. Y'all can let me know what you think. But I do think Dee Dee thought she couldn't walk for a few years. I do believe that. And then I think Gypsy continued using that excuse. Oh, I'm tired. I can't walk. This, and that. I do believe she did that. I don't know. That's just my opinion. That's why I believe it. And the reason I believe her in the video is because she's talking to Nick. Even though she lies to Nick, she lied to Nick about her age. She did that. Sheriff Arnott, she lied to Nick about her age. She did that. Not Dee Dee. She did. She was an adult scamming Social Security as an adult. Why wouldn't you press charges on her and go that route? Because it was her, not just Dee Dee. But that just gets let go. I don't know. I get so worked up about that. I'm going to go get me another drink.
Looks like they move.
Oh my God. I think that video.
That feels weird to me. It always has. There's a picture where she's messing with Easter eggs, but her butt is on the floor, knees up to her chin. She's kneeling, clearly using her legs. What is true? This is his point.
Yeah, here's the deal. The bottom line is Dee Dee was murdered and didn't deserve to be murdered, no matter what. Nobody deserves to be murdered. We owe as Monday morning quarterback what we did, and I think we did a good job. I think the community would have liked to know more. Everybody loves the mystery part of this, and to go down the rabbit holes. Back then, we probably would have got more clear information than we can dig up now, but it didn't make sense for the case. The case was a murder, and her and Nick Godejohn were both charged. It's just hard to look at that and decide, should you have gone down those rabbit holes? I don't think so. I think we did the proper thing, but for her, what she calls celebrity status now, there doesn't seem to be justice done because we all kind of know the truth behind her motivation, and that's fame and fortune.
We talked about Nick being manipulated by Gypsy.
Yeah, he was definitely manipulated, of course. He'd be foolish to say anything different, but he was a willing participant. He did it for love, is I think his claim. Gosh, that guy has some problems too. It's the two of them getting together was not a good thing.
I asked him how does he feel about Nicholas Godejohn getting life and Gypsy Rose Blanchard getting 10 years.
Listen to
I
this.
don't not support that deal. Everybody has their opinion on who's as guilty as the other, and I understand.
He does not support that deal. He supports him getting life and never getting parole. What? Okay, let it continue because this is where I'm going to question. He contradicts himself then. Hold on.
The prosecutor is doing what's best for the case and to get a conviction, and I don't disagree with it. Would I like to have seen Gypsy go away for a lot longer than she did because I think she was more culpable than what her plea deal was, of course. But a lot of that is after the fact, after you see her come out and do the things that she does. Most people now are really intrigued with her thinking, but then can also watch a few episodes of whatever show that she's on, and she contradicts herself throughout the whole thing. So if you're any type of investigator at all, you go, she's lying.
I explained to him about how I feel Dee Dee was manipulated by Gypsy on many levels, and I tell him about that video where she shows Nick that she's been lying about being able to walk, even lying to her mother.
It's because of her behavior since she's left prison that we've been able to see in the media has really driven a lot of people the other direction, just like you, and said, wow, there's a lot of manipulation here, and there's a lot of not truth. And when you look at some of those things, in her history with what she's saying now, you think, yeah, that doesn't make sense. But unfortunately, we don't have Dee Dee here to ask those questions. And, they kept to themselves when it came to sharing their secrets. They were pretty good about keeping things between the two of them. I don't know if that was purposely. I'm assuming it's purposely kept people out from knowing the actual truth.
We don't have Dee Dee here to ask. We don't have nobody to ask but Gypsy. That's where we counted on the sheriff's department to go make sure that they investigated every little inch of that house, the DNA, the conning, the scam, like the scamming and the manipulation, the medical abuse that they didn't look into. He didn't look at the medical records. They didn't even look at all the Facebook. He didn't even see half of the videos in the FOIA documents. So again, I question how great did they look into the evidence and push that to, well, Mike Stanfield wasn't going to push it anyways. We already know that. But for Nick's side, why wasn't that push for him? I don't get that. It does, to me, it matters. It is bogus, Justin. I agree.
Oh, yes. Her appearance on talk shows, going on podcasts, The Dr. Phil Show, Mommy, Dead, and Dearest, her show on Lifetime, her book. So many stories filled with lies that are easy to disprove now that we can see all of these videos, these private Facebook messages, computer searches, GPS coordinates. It's truly wild how much was a lie.
Looking back at it after we watch everything, should she have got more time? I think everybody thinks that. What's a little bit odd is you think, oh, you spend, you get a 10-year sentence, you spend several years in prison, and maybe that gives you time to reflect and get counseling and understand. But if you watch any of those shows, you know that none of that took place. And so that's when you go, yeah, she probably definitely should have done more time. And,
You
if the
think?
prosecutor had all the shows to watch and stuff before he got to make his decision, I'm sure he'd be influenced in a different way too, just like we all are now.
I asked him about Gypsy's microdeletion diagnosis. It's very rare,
Listen.
1C to 1.1. When doctors discovered it, it answered almost everything. All of Gypsy's medical problems could be attributed to this chromosomal deletion. Did his investigators know much about it as they worked the case?
I don't know where that came in, when that information came in. It's been so long, I can't remember when that was known. Do you know when it was?
Wow.
So the medical community discovered the 1Q2 1.1 in 2008, and then she was officially diagnosed in 2011.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what records we had at that time, and if that is something that the prosecutor had reviewed versus us, I'm not sure. I don't remember.
Did you all hear that? Did y'all hear him? He doesn't know when the microdeletion came into play. If it was before, if it was the prosecution that got it, he doesn't remember. I guess that's a really good response when you don't want to say you didn't know and just show, like Mike Scanfield showing she was just medically abused. That kind of bugs me. I don't know. Again, our expectations of a case, I know, I get it. It's after the fact, and we expect not perfection, but just to at least look into all the evidence, all the facts, all the hearsay, all the rabbit holes. We expect them to do that to make sure at the end of the day, when that person is going to trial, that they are getting a fair sentence. And I don't think that the sentencing part was fair for Gypsy or Nick. It should have been reversed, in my opinion. I don't think he should have got out in 10 years. Let me make that clear. Not 10 years, no.
Because it would have answered why Dee was taking
Came in there yelling at his game.
Do you know if Gypsy's medical records were reviewed by professionals outside the defense team?
I don't, to be quite honest. I am sure the prosecutor, every time we've had a case with medical records, he has somebody review it. That's a medical expert, so I'm sure that happened.
You have to remember he had investigators getting into the details of the case, and it's been over a decade. We also know from Rod, the dad, in the Mommy, Dead, and Dearest HBO show and messages, that they knew about the microdeletion diagnosis then. And Gypsy wrote to her neighbor friend about it. It explained why Gypsy was so sick. For real sick. Her mother taking her to doctors, working to figure out why she had failure to thrive. That was real. And when I get here, I think about what the sheriff's investigators found as they started to dig into the case. A police report from October 2009. Gypsy was 18. Dee Dee's name is spelled Claudine, Clauddine, not Claudinia. And Blanchard has no E on this report. The investigator writes that he was dispatched to Volunteer Way, Dee Dee and Gypsy's Habitat for Humanity house, to meet with DFS, Family Services, about a child at that location. There was a mother and child at the house with DFS, saying the mother claimed her daughter is paralyzed from the waist down, has MS, cancer, and other medical issues. A hotline call was made from the hospital, with the doctor concerned that he couldn't find these symptoms that would support what the mother alleged about her daughter. It goes on to say the hospital was concerned about inconsistent birth dates and lack of medical diagnosis. We know the mother and daughter consistently used a younger birth date for Gypsy. DFS wanted to make sure Gypsy wasn't a runaway or a missing kid. Dee Dee told them they were Hurricane Katrina survivors, and that's how they got to Springfield, Missouri. As far as all the inconsistencies, Dee Dee says she didn't know how that happened. She then said she had a marriage that ended in divorce and feared her ex-husband. Went on to say she changed her daughter's information at the hospital so her ex wouldn't find them. Deputies ran them through the system and discovered Gypsy was an adult, 18, and, quote, does suffer from some type of mental handicap, end quote. Scene was cleared. I wonder how Gypsy was acting in front of them. Yep. Anyway, it reminds me of after the murder, the woman named Marcia was questioned by authorities. Gypsy called her grandma. She said she watched Gypsy sometimes, like when Dee Dee had sleep studies done, and how Gypsy acted 8 or 9. But we know she was a full-ass adult.
She's 8, 9, mentality-wise. Age-wise, different.
Right.
But mentality-wise, most polite child you've ever met in your life. Boy, we could use more of that.
Wow.
No more of that, please. I wonder what detectives thought as they heard Gypsy while she was in the interrogation room talking to an officer in Wisconsin about her 3-week trip to Disney, eating too much sugar, and running up and down Main Street.
I went and danced the waltz with Prince Charming and Cinderella.
Really?
That was really fun. My mom and I got the Disney dining plan, which is unlimited food. A human being cannot eat this much food.
Too much food?
And we went and ate at Chef Mickey's. I had way too much sugar. Whenever you go anywhere in Disney, they try to pump you with sugar. By the end of the night, it was closing time. I was so filled with sugar that I was dancing up and down Main Street at Magic Kingdom.
I think about investigators finding another report, this one from August 2010. A Domino's pizza worker was delivering a pizza to Dee Dee. The spelling on her name, again, different. Claudinia, this time Blanchard with an E. Anyway, the worker says he delivered a pizza. Dee Dee tried to use a gift certificate from an out-of-state franchise. Driver said no, went to leave with the pizza, and she grabbed his shirt collar from behind and left red marks on his neck. The driver told authorities they'd had problems with her in the past, far cry from how she's described by others, like former neighbor Dominique. She described Dee Dee and Gypsy as super bubbly all the time, kind of fake. Even when Gypsy looked so sick, like she was going to die, always smiling, happy.
Oh yeah, what I could see, at least what they showed to me. I mean, again, I wasn't as close as these other people were, but what I saw, it just something never seemed like real. They didn't seem very real. It seemed like they were all in their own world, their own make-believe world of Disney and Marvel and all the pretend.
But Dominique also talks about walking up to the house, hearing the two yelling at each other.
I remember knocking on their door for some reason I don't remember, and Dee Dee barely cracked it open and had her robe on, but it was like maybe 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, honey. I just can't. I'm sick today, and come back another day." But it was weird because I heard a bunch of yelling outside, so I think that's the reason. I just know that I went there. I was on my way there, and I heard a bunch of yelling, and so it just didn't make sense, you know. So like, okay, so now you're acting like you just woke up.
I asked Sheriff Arnott about all the Facebook messages that came to light with the Freedom of Information Act release, the FOIAs. The ones that show Dee Dee, Gypsy's dad, Rod, and stepmother Christy actually having a loving and kind relationship, talking about medical complications and invitations to come to Springfield and stay at their house during a hurricane. Talks of Rod taking Gypsy on vacation, something he backed out of fairly quickly. No, Sheriff Arnott says he didn't know about those. Those would be rabbit holes.
What does it have to do with the murder of Dee Dee? You know, it could be play into a role that
What does it have to do with the murder of Dee Dee? What does it have to do with the lies that Rod and Christy are telling HBO, telling the people, lying on the stand, basically, if they would have had to have gotten up there? But what does it have to do with the murder? I think it has to do a lot. If you're accusing her of scamming for money and him not helping, and how many times was he behind on child support? What it proves is that Dee Dee did try. Dee Dee didn't keep Gypsy away from Rod, like Gypsy said. Dee Dee wasn't keeping her locked in the house, away from Rod and Christy and her family, away from friends. I just listened to Morgan Elena's interview with somebody, a neighbor. She said Gypsy was allowed friends. They played outside all the time together with her daughters. And she was an adult. Her kids were like 7. But they all played outside, and Gypsy was out there playing right along with them. It proves she lied. What does it matter? It does matter. She wasn't keeping Gypsy hostage from Rod. And Rod saying Dee Dee was lying and hid where she lived and we didn't know. And Gypsy was trying to escape. I think that matters. I don't know. I don't know. I just think that matters.
defense from Gypsy, maybe. And of course, that's what her attorney does, is pull up all that information to use in court. But for us, the facts were the facts. She had planned it out. She had him come down. They had a full plan to go to a hotel afterwards, to mail the weapon back to his house. All those things were planned out. That's the investigation that we looked into. The lifetime of lies and manipulation. It got so deep that we had to have a stopping point.
And little cooperation made investigating difficult.
Not everybody was
Here it
completely
is.
open with.
Listen.
This is what I think. It was hard to track that information down because they didn't want to get wrapped up in a scam of some kind or get charges filed on them, because they have information, some type of fraud or something. So yeah, it was tough wade through those things.
Like those specific family members or friends?
Both. I mean, just, you go out of state and start doing an investigation. A lot of people don't really want to talk to you because they don't know what it is, and then they don't know the extent that Dee Dee has gotten into and what she said and what she hasn't said. Because there's a lot of untruths, whether it was a scam or not, different things. They didn't tell the truth.
We talked about Gypsy being on social media.
Okay, so I guess he's meaning both, because I misunderstood maybe, but because of scamming, and they didn't want to get her caught up in scamming and fraud, because like I said, we just saw David and Kim, they're fraud, they're scamming, and a lot of people were committing fraud. I guess that would be a good reason not to talk, but I don't see how they would get caught up and get in trouble for fraud if they weren't included in the con. How would they get in trouble for saying Dee Dee was committing fraud? They wouldn't. I don't get that. But anyhow. It would have been awesome, Pacho, if the bike cops could have, run down the neighborhood on their bicycles going as fast as they can, put their little light on the handlebar. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Wait, I do have sounds for that. I have to do it. Wait. Just to picture it. Picture a bicycle chasing Gypsy in a wheelchair. Because she said she did wheelies. That's what the tire marks were in the yard. The tire marks in the yard and the FOIA evidence is Gypsy doing wheelies with her wheelchair. Those are dually tires. No. But imagine. Chasing Gypsy in her wheelchair. I'm sorry. That was just a quick, let's laugh a little. We got to laugh a little throughout this. It's depressing. It is depressing.
Media influencing young women and girls. He hasn't seen any of Gypsy's antics on platforms
I don't
like
believe
TikTok,
that.
but even after his 2 episodes of Life After Lockup, his opinion is strong.
No, I would say absolutely not. Internet or media. I also don't think my grandkids should have it either. So it's one of those deals. They'll never have them. But I think she's in the spotlight now and will be for a while. So everybody will watch her moves. I mean, that's what's got everybody talking, because she does do that. And a lot of people have spun the opposite direction on her, thinking she was a victim. And now they think she was the mastermind of everything, and continues to be, to get on TV and get all these appearances on these different shows. And that's the good thing about living in the United States, is you have that freedom.
At least he admits that and agrees with it.
Value, it's disgusting, because
she's
really
disgusting.
Revolves around the murder of her own mother, and you don't see her talk about that in the specials very much. She talks about being a victim, but she really won't talk about actual murder of her mom.
And he says none of this should be surprising.
Did you hear him? He doesn't. She's disgusting. It's disgusting, her behavior is. He finds it all disgusting. And he said, you won't ever see her talk about the crime. Well, you know why she doesn't talk about the crime? Hi, Jen. Yes. And that's what I'm saying. Look at the economy right now and the situation half of us live in. It's scary. I swear to God. We are struggling in America right now. So just think about that with Dee Dee. Is she wrong for taking advantage and maybe lying to get financial aid from different organizations and the government? Yeah. But the people who run this country are doing the exact same thing within our government every day. So why is everybody hating on her so bad? If that was the case, 70% of America would be in jail, I would think, because I know so many people who have scammed the government. That's just my opinion, though. Lola, I do believe that. I do believe Dee Dee was just trying to survive, make sure she wasn't homeless again. Her own brother kicked her out of her home. They get displaced from Hurricane Katrina. Her brother kicks her out because he said their mother verbally said he could have the house. Dee Dee left. I would be angry too. I would get away from that family. I don't blame her. And then people blame her for getting up and walking away after your brother kicks you out of a house. So, and Gypsy says they kicked her out because she didn't go to school. He was angry about it. That makes no sense. That makes zero sense. If he was so worried about you not going to school, why would he kick you out on the street where you have no home, no address, no way to do your homework, have a place to study, have an actual address to be sent to school? Or why would he kick you out when he could sit there and watch your mother make sure you were doing schooling, whether it was homeschool or public school? That makes zero sense to me. It had nothing to do with that. He kicked her out because he wanted the house. That's it. That's what I think. Oh, thank you, Fire. You're so sweet. I love you. But that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. Again, y'all form your own opinions. We're not going to agree on everything. Just like he doesn't agree with what we think, a lot of us. You guys always need to form your own opinions. I'm just giving you what I feel. That's just what I feel, you know?
She was there in the house when it happened, did nothing to stop it, planned it out, and then celebrated afterwards. And that's what we need to come back to and go, that's the person that she is. She's not the celebrity she thinks she is.
I went to prison for 8.5 years because I'm my own mom. Oh my God. Hey, we listen to the judge.
Do you feel that should have been a stipulation of the sentence?
I don't think you could enforce that. You know?
Because she's making a lot of money.
I'm sure she is. But we work for the victims. That's really our job, period. We work for the victims. She's not a victim. She was a suspect. And did we get justice? I think we got justice. But when you see somebody get out and take advantage of it and is doing the same things that she claimed that her mom did, that's what she's doing right now. And you can't tell me there's a difference.
Okay, here's my question. He said she's claiming she's doing the same things that she's claiming her mother did to her. But did Dee Dee do it? Did Dee Dee do everything Gypsy said? That's the whole point. Dee Dee didn't. There's only one story, and it's Gypsy's. That's it. And if she's continuing this same behavior, and he's seeing it now, he said it's her repeating the same behavior starting all over again since she got out. You don't think that those behaviors is maybe it wasn't Dee Dee and it was Gypsy? I mean, I think that's food for thought. It's my opinion.
I asked Sheriff Arnott about fraud. There's a letter addressed to Into the Weeds podcast. They have requested any records related to fraud from Dee Dee and Gypsy. It says, quote, "It is our position that such fraud case does not exist. Therefore, we have nothing to provide," end quote. Sheriff Arnott clarifies this does not mean that no fraud was found.
So that's where we got to the point of all this information coming in about potential fraud. And we decided it didn't really matter, because there's no one to go after for it.
Okay, whoa, back up. What did he say in the beginning? That they had to take into consideration that Gypsy was being abused, that Dee Dee did have Munchausen. But he's saying Munchausen is because Dee Dee's scamming and committing cons for money. That's what he considered Munchausen. That's what he said. So now he's saying it doesn't matter. In the grand scheme of things, what does it matter if they were conning? Does that make sense to you guys? Because, we just, we just talked about it, right? He just said it in the very beginning. Yes, Brandy, she is. What she means, and I seen you say, somebody said, what do you mean, Brandy? What she means by that is Gypsy is buying matching mommy-daughter clothes. She's taking Aurora shopping to buy toys, but Aurora isn't allowed to pick out what she wants. It's what Gypsy wants. And it's usually some kind of like Mario Kart or Disney or whatever she says. That's what Aurora gets. She's doing okay and dressing Aurora in the clothes that she does. When she said Dee Dee never let her wear her own clothes and dressed her like a boy, yet there's not one stitch of boy clothing, not even a t-shirt that could resemble a piece of boy clothing in that house when they took all those photos. And look how she cuts Aurora's hair. There's a lot of similarities that Gypsy's doing with her child that she claims Dee Dee did to her. That's what she's meaning by it. And in no way am I talking negatively about the baby. That's not what I mean. I'm just showing you guys the same pattern that she claims Dee Dee did to her. But I think yes, she could. She put her down in the aisle at Walmart. She has a whole video of it up. She put Aurora down and let her pick anything she touched. She let her buy, she said. But everything Aurora touched that she liked, because she wanted a fly. There was this one toy, there was a fly in it. She really loved it. And Gypsy said, no, absolutely not. You're not getting a fly. She didn't get it. She bought her a Mario Kart, something with Mario Brothers, because it would match Ken's Mario Kart game when he played. No, she put her down in Walmart. It's a new video. She can pick out her own toys. She just wouldn't let her. I don't think she let her get anything that she picked up. Not one of them. Yeah, forced childhood. Yes. Yeah. Some of them, and look how she dressed Aurora. It was just a white onesie. Literally just a white onesie, no shoes, no nothing. And that was it. That's what you claim Dee Dee did to you. I'm just saying. Hey, Bean, how are you? That's true. And the ball pit was the only thing. I don't know if Aurora touched it, but either way, I think it was a great toy to get for Aurora. I mean, I bought them for my kids. I think it's a great sensory toy. I think it keeps them occupied. It's well worth your money. I bought all my kids a little ball pit, so I don't remember if Aurora touched that or not, but because it's in a box. So I don't know. But she touched like 2 or 3 other things, and Gypsy said no. So, yeah. She's going to be in that ball pit all day, y'all. You're going to hear Aurora back there. You're going to see balls flying by Gypsy's head because she's going to be online all day battling, and Aurora's going to be stuck in a ball pit. Oh. Yeah, I know. Okay. But I was just saying how he kind of contradicted himself there. He said it didn't matter. The conning didn't. But in the beginning, it did matter. So make that make sense. How did it matter when it was abuse towards Gypsy? But now when it's coming down to like whether or not it would make her look worse or give her more time, it didn't matter. Because she was 20, almost 20. Well, she would have been 24 before her plea deal. She turned 24 3 weeks after she was arrested. So from the time she was 18, she was frauding Social Security and the government and everything else. Just saying. And who signed the wrong birthday and the wrong name in the prison when they did the interrogation? Gypsy did. Gypsy signed the wrong name and gave the wrong birthday. She lied all the way up until she got her plea deal. And in Mommy, Dad, and Dearest, she still lied and said she lied. And, it was the first time she'd being honest. But even, except with her lawyer, but even then, she wasn't very honest with him. She's always lied.
And we need to focus on the actual crime that took place, and that's the murder.
So now it don't matter.
Didn't look at it anymore because it didn't help or it didn't hurt the investigation. So we just had to limit our scope and just narrow it down to finishing the case.
Again, his job was to show who murdered Dee Dee. Everything else, back to the rabbit holes.
It's very hard to go, well, we need to look at the fraud in Louisiana where she came from. Why? Just at that point.
Why?
Now I can see why people want to put that whole picture together to see whose fault it is.
Exactly.
What percentage of blame can we put on Dee Dee? What percentage of blame?
How could you not see it then?
I get that now, but at the time, that's not what we're there for. We're there to make an arrest and to prove.
Let me replay that. I spoke over, but he said, why did it matter? And now he says, now he sees why. How could you not see it then? Let me go back. I'm sorry. I couldn't shut up there.
Why? Just at that point.
Oh, it's so annoying. I'm sorry.
as there's no one to go after for it, and we need to focus on the actual crime that took place, and that's the murder. So at one point we just didn't look at it anymore because it didn't help or it didn't hurt the investigation.
But
So
it
we
did.
just had to limit our scope and just narrow it down to finishing the case.
Again, his job was to show who murdered Dee Dee. Everything else, back to the rabbit holes.
It's very hard to go, well, we need to look at the fraud in Louisiana, where she came from. Why? Just at that point. Now I can see why people want to put that whole picture together to see whose fault it is. What percentage of blame can we put on Dee Dee? What percentage of blame can we put on Gypsy? I get that now. But, at the time, that's not what we're looking for. We're there to make an arrest and to prove who murdered Dee Dee, and we did.
This is a case that hasn't faded away, though, as far as he's concerned.
I get asked these questions all the time. If I travel to another state, you're Gypsy Rose, Sheriff. And I'm like, yeah, I am. And, then they throw out the things aren't always as they appear. And I go, well, yeah. But the thing with that is what is bad is just the level of manipulation all the way around. And so to come out and be like a rock star of some kind that people are following and watching, and good grief. I mean, that's the part that I don't understand. So I'm definitely not on her side today. And if you watch any of the shows, which I've watched just a couple, it's a disgusting thing of manipulation that she's famous for plotting and going through with killing her mother.
Yeah, I agree, Bean. It is up to the DA and push it to the prosecutors and to the judge. I get that. But the evidence that Greene County Sheriff decided to look into, he stopped all of that. He stopped. He said that they were overwhelmed and going in too many directions, and looking at the scamming and the fraud, and that didn't matter. I disagree, because you said in the beginning Dee Dee had Munchausen by proxy. He stands on that and believes Gypsy was a victim of Munchausen. But he sets and explains Munchausen as somebody who cons and scams for money. That's not Munchausen, that's malingering. That's where I just feel like he's just trying to cover something up, whether they were just lazy and didn't do the work. He's asked, why was there no DNA evidence done or more? Why was, this, and this not done? And he just said he didn't know. I don't know. And I get it. They get the evidence. They give it to the DA. It goes from there. I get all that, but I will forever say Dan Patterson made sure that the evidence didn't get pushed through. I will never not believe that. But you form your own opinions. I believe Dan Patterson made sure that all the evidence wasn't shown. Just like he doesn't even know when the microdeletion came into play. He doesn't know if it was before the DA had the evidence or during. He has no idea. How could you not know that? That's like a very big, important piece of information and evidence to have to take to the DA, But Patterson wasn't going to allow it anyways. I guess it really didn't matter.
I asked Sheriff Arnott about the idea that Gypsy may have played a bigger role in the actual stabbing.
And her physically being in that bedroom doesn't change anything.
I don't know. It may have changed our perspective, but to be quite honest, as part of the crime, I mean, she was part of the planning. It was premeditated murder. She was an active participant in it. She helped conceal. She's just as guilty as the person that stabbed her mom.
But there wasn't a big chatter amongst investigators that you thought that she was doing any of the stabbing or was in the room when
No, not really.
I asked him several questions there were no real answers to. I asked
you
about
hear
certain
that?
DNA samples.
He said that there was no discussion among other cops or chatter of her being involved with the stabbing. When we just heard Detective Hancock speak to Becca Scoops and say that they did think that there was chatter amongst the police department and that they did feel Gypsy was more involved. That there was, maybe he didn't hear it. Maybe, he's the sheriff. Maybe he's not speaking to every detective, every cop, everybody who was involved. Maybe he didn't hear it. But there definitely was chatter amongst them with her involvement, and they felt she was involved, not just Nick. And he'll say more on that later. I'll explain it in a minute. I think really that one thing about her being involved and him talking about that part is probably the one thing I really just disagree with, and I'm like, I'm irritated by that.
Samples not being tested. He didn't know. I asked if anything stood out to him concerning Nick's secret he said he's taking to the grave. Nothing stood out. I asked about VisionCon, Gypsy deleting a bunch of those pictures before her arrest. Sheriff Arnott says the whole VisionCon aspect was weird, but didn't find anything criminal. I asked about David Blanchard, the window he went in and out of.
VisionCon was just
Sheriff Arnott
weird.
didn't know. We sat in his office for over an hour and a half. I asked about a lot. But again, it was his investigators who were in the thick of it. It's been more than a decade ago, or it didn't matter to the murder case, and only the murder case. Mike Stanfield, Gypsy's public defender, later becoming Gypsy's manager. I asked, bad optics? Yes, he agreed. Bad optics. And I asked about the HBO documentary, about that show coming out before Nick's trial.
I don't like shows that come out before the trial is done and those things. So, because you don't want to sway anyone's thinking, but I think the information at the trial that came out, I think, was enough for somebody to make the judge didn't want to make a decision. So, I don't think the HBO special swayed that.
Are you joking? Did you hear him? He said the HBO documentary didn't sway anybody's opinion. It absolutely did. The HBO documentary, that should have never happened. That should have never happened until Nick went to trial and was sentenced. That should have never happened. Please tell me how HBO got Nick's discovery from the prosecution's office, the DA, wherever. How did they get the discovery before Nick did? And they published his discovery before Nick's attorneys got it or he got it. You're going to tell me that doesn't sway the jury or the public? I'm floored he said that. These are the things that I do disagree on, that I think, that absolutely swayed the public's opinion, because it makes it look like they painted Gypsy as a poor little mean victim and that Dee Dee was this monster. When he's even saying at the end, she's just a liar, manipulator, and you don't know what to believe. Maybe not, but I don't know, Nikki. I disagree with that. When you put out information and it's one-sided and they're portraying Nick as the aggressor and him pushing Gypsy into the murder, which is what she said. I mean, they didn't specifically do that, but he's the violent one because he did the act. But we all know Nick said she was never in the bathroom, and he's taken that a different secret to his grave. I do not believe for 1 second that Gypsy didn't stab Dee Dee. I won't believe that ever. I don't believe it. But I do feel like if they're putting out information, one-sided information, I do feel that sways the public's decision, because they were all against Gypsy until Mike Stanfield went on Facebook and tested the MVP theory. And as soon as he got that outpour of sympathy, it flipped. It was instant. It was an instant, oh, her mother abused her. Oh, and then some people spoke up and said, wait a minute, hold up. Now you're going to flip it and say the mother abused her? Are we joking here? This was local people saying this too. But they went along with it because why? The public was swayed with that opinion. And that was, in my opinion, everybody believed that part of the HBO documentary. Dee Dee has Munchausen. Never diagnosed with it, but she has it. And I don't think Nick would have ever went there and took Dee Dee's life if Gypsy had never met him. Well, if Gypsy wouldn't have paid him, he would have never got there. He would have never murdered Dee Dee. He wouldn't have just did it on his own and saved up money and went and did that. That would have never happened. This was all Gypsy. Yeah, that's true. Okay, sorry. This is my opinion. I do believe it sways the public, though. That's just my opinion now, y'all. And I'm not like, please don't get angry at me or think I'm angry. I'm not. I'm just saying my opinion. I think it sways the public and the jury's opinion. I disagree. I don't think that should be put out until after the fact. Then, yeah.
And the sheriff looked nothing like me that portrayed in that thing, by the way. So I just for the audience, I do not look like a criminal. That's who that looked like. So,
For the record.
For the record.
I did not like the way mommy didn't do it.
Exactly. I definitely don't wear my hat till the back.
Okay, so the deal is, it's hard to learn
All
so
he
much
cared
after
about
the
was
release
who
of the
portrayed him in the
videos.
documentary.
I admittedly went on a rant about all of the lies. Gypsy is so frustrating.
Able to get the videos and other documents, GPS records, and DNA, like all of 2011, the shift. She tells her mom she can walk. She tells Nick on video, seeing Facebook messages between Rod and Dee Dee and Christy, and their love wild. Like, you guys are having a hurricane, come on up here and stay safe. Gypsy can't go on that vacation. We're Kansas City because she needs treatment, so we're getting really sick. Parkinson's, we're piecing these together through messages, medicine that we see in the crime scene. Pellet gun, where Gypsy shoots her, that happened. Hey, I was able to, lie to my mom about this, and she doesn't know about that. Let me grow up. She's not going to help me pay for rent when we're crying. The manipulations wanting to date older men. You see that shift too. And that film goes up on the windows, right? Because we think Gypsy was walking and her mom doesn't know we can walk. What am I supposed to tell the community? We can't reveal this. Now she calls you guys because her medicine's been stolen. Again, we know it's Gypsy. Gypsy says she's shoving in her feeding tube. Googling what are the most common medicines that kids steal, what to do when kids steal. Yes, coordinate to River. Did she go? Did she take Gypsy there? We don't know. But there was actual messages between Nick and Gypsy. Mom's going to kick me out. I don't know what to do. You got to get here. This timeline has to be bumped up.
Oh my God, you guys, I ranted for like 5 freaking minutes. He was very patient with me. At the end, he looked at me like, do you feel better?
So, did you hear what she said? After sharing all this information and evidence, provable evidence with him, and giving her, thoughts, well, how do you explain this? After she's done, he says, do you feel better? He doesn't answer anything. He just says, do you feel better? I think that's, I don't know. Exactly, Bean. I 1000% believe that too, Bean. I think it started in the kitchen and I think it went down the hallway. I think Dee Dee stood at the bed and was told what to do and she did it. Why else is there a puddle of blood at the bottom of the bed in the carpet? But hey, Sheriff Arnott, sorry. I know there's a Sheriff Arnott in West Virginia. That's why I keep saying that. Doesn't know why the DNA was never done. Doesn't know. No answer. So that's it. I just, yeah, it is condescending. I agree. Do you feel better? Oh my God.
Sir, that's what we're So his answer, right? Okay, here we go.
Did a lot of those things that I just said to you, is that new information?
Some of it is. To me, it may not have been to the investigator specifically, turning over the records and stuff, but some of that is, yeah.
And I think that's where people are like, why wasn't this highlighted more amongst you and the prosecutor? And it paints a different picture.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. But the thing is she's guilty of the crime. I think the issue is how much time did she serve? I think that's really the issue. Mm-hmm. So I think most people are not looking at, was she found guilty? It's more of, she was found guilty, but he's doing life and she did 8 years. No matter how much time you get, it's never enough for the investigators most of the time, unless it's life or
hold on, it's
death.
coming.
And so I don't think anyone thinks that she served the appropriate amount of time. But also you get 10 years, you don't do 10 years. That's also an issue with sheriffs, is that getting law passed that says that if you get sentenced, like truth in sentencing, you get 10 years, then you do 10 years, or you do maybe 80%, but most don't. If you get 10 years in Missouri, you probably do 1.5 years, and then you get out. And so I don't think anybody does enough time for the crime that they do. So I think that's what you see people being disappointed in the system, is that she didn't do enough time. I think that's where the issue is. And I don't know that a different decision would be made.
And back.
I'm sorry. Most people are disappointed in that part, that side of it. We are disappointed that she only got 10 years. But at the same time, if the evidence and, if the case would have been properly investigated and the evidence pushed forward right, maybe there would have been a different outcome. Why he keeps pushing she got the right sentence is blowing my mind, because he's saying she's the master manipulator in her and Dee Dee's relationship. He says that here. He's saying she absolutely manipulated Nicholas Godejohn. But, he's a willing participant. So, okay, Okay, I get that he's a willing participant, but she's she's a mastermind. I've never seen a case where somebody who doesn't plot, plan, pay, and she did pay him, who took the case, thought it up. She did this for 2 years, plotted and planned it, only got 10 years. They always get more time than the person who actually did the kill for them. I don't know where he's getting that this is the sentence is fair, especially with Nick never changing his story, except for he did say later she was never in the bathroom. That Gypsy wasn't in the bathroom and he was taking a secret to the grave. And I believe he will. But his story about what happened there that night, you know, he was up front from the beginning. He really didn't lie about anything. His story's never changed. That's it. Her story was a lie from the beginning and has changed every day since the crime. I just don't get it.
To that. All that stuff didn't matter to his investigators because their job was to uncover who murdered Dee Dee. And it was Gypsy and Nick. For just a second, can we go back to, man, Gypsy gets me all riled up. And I'm not the only one. But this isn't totally like me. I mean, I'm animated and passionate. Yeah.
You even know what's going on. You don't know anything about this case. Oh, you thought it was messed up? You don't know anything. Yeah, it was a world. You've been in a world.
Pamela Shelby is my sister. And she's also my producer.
So I want to start off by giving context to how we got here, because we had just launched season 2 in March of 2020. And after we had done this initial push to get the season live after 5 years of investigation and putting it together, and we had a moment where it's like, okay, now what's next? And I said to you, you got to get on TikTok. And your response was, no, because you had a long and successful career in radio where you didn't have to be so face forward. And this would change that. So you went on TikTok. And in March of 2025, you started with 0 followers. And so as you were creating content, figuring it out, bringing the ropes, we were also watching to see where the conversations were happening. And so a few months later, I said to you, you need to talk about Gypsy Rose Blanchard. And again, you were like, no, I don't have anything to say. And we did this with a couple different things. Like you had Katrina coverage from when that had happened, and documentary had just come out. So I was like, oh, we should talk about that too. This was late spring 2025. So we had to start with what we had. And the truth was that you did have something to say, because when the case first broke on Dee Dee Blanchard's murder, that morning, you called me. I was at work and you were in the newsroom. And you were like, you have to watch this. And you were breaking down to me what was going on. At that time, Gypsy was missing. Dee Dee had been found murdered, and people in your station or in the building had known them because they had had ongoing relationships with Gypsy and Dee Dee coming to concerts and coming to the station, and had these two kind of built up as beloved community members. So yeah, that's where it started. It turned out that at the same time that you were trying to dip your toes in and learning about how to jump into conversations and what you could pull from and what it meant to be part of the community in Springfield, there was another team that were filling out FOIA requests and getting all of these documents. So there was real things to talk about, and boy, the rest feels like at this point history. I mean, you did build an organic following by being like, hi, I'll talk to you about this and I'll find something valuable to say in regards to the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case if you sometimes let me talk about season 2, because we were really trying to find ways for people to also discover us and listen to this investigation that we had just put out in regards to an alleged serial killer. That was where this conversation was birthed from, was finding ways for people to discover the Toll podcast season 2 poison control. But boy, oh boy, was this a journey, because you did get invited to panels. You've been invited to go through these FOIA releases, and
she has gained a lot of subs, because she was only at like 2.3K subscribers, I think, yesterday when I went to her channel. So she's at 3.1 now. I think she did a great job asking him. I think she tried asking him questions. I still think he dodged them. He still says a little bit more, but it's almost over. But I do think that she did a great job at trying to get some more info out, but he's not going to do it. He's not going to throw his department under the bus. He's definitely not going to admit to anything. He thinks they did everything right, and that his department did an amazing job investigating and handling the case. I disagree. But but I think Nancy tried. I think she did good.
See what was done. I watched your brain melt. Yeah, and it's just been a wild ride.
And I guess I feel duped too. As a reporter here in Springfield at the time of the murder, and now to find out Gypsy really was sick from this chromosomal deletion, and we still have so many questions about everything in between. As we started to wind down our conversation, I asked Greene County Sheriff Jim Arnott how he thinks the whole Gypsy Rose thing ends. Again, he does not follow any of her social media antics.
I can tell you, for just the average superstar, it never ends well. So for being the person that thinks she's rising to the top, it's not going to end well, because her story is not a good story.
I asked, who failed Gypsy?
Gosh, there are so many different angles. A lot of people look at good things we caught in the medical records earlier when we were kind of doctor shopping, and but that has kind of come around to, I'm not sure if that would have fixed anything.
But Dee Dee wasn't doctor shopping. That's the whole point. Dee Dee wasn't doctor shopping. We can prove that. That's how little they looked at the medical records. She's seen her two main doctors, and then they referred her to specialists. That's not doctor shopping. Oh my God. Okay.
I don't know. I think everything boils down to proper parenting. And so it just seems like there was a lot of advantage people were taking advantage of to better them, whether it's their media presence or getting trips to Disney World or
not wrong
those
there.
kind of things. If they didn't receive those, they probably wouldn't have got the attention. If they didn't get the attention, they may not have. We can always, say the what if kind of thing, but I don't know what failed other than proper parenting. And I don't know.
I don't know how to answer that question either. I go back to the little things like Gypsy running her teeth, admitting to sucking Pediasure through a bottle. Okay, again, did Dee Dee get her those bottles? Did Gypsy steal them? Did she get better treatment from her mom acting like a baby? Did it make life easier? Make Dee Dee love her more? We don't know. We'll never know. I'm sure what was happening behind closed doors at 2103 West Volunteer Way was weird and uncomfortable and horrific at times, long before the murder. Here's producer Pam again.
The Gypsy Rose economy is something that I could never have conceptualized until we were part of it. And the way that content mining actually looks in real life, I had the benefit of being objective because I'm not getting sucked into this case on the granular level. And so I can look at this like these are just the Hills Have Eyes people. I grew up with people like this all around me. You grew up with people like this all around you. It's just sickness and instability and entitlement at its finest. And it's homegrown. When you hear Dominique's interview and she's like, you're a little weird, a little busy, you put the picture together. It's not hard with the evidence that we have now to put another picture together, which is one of like, yay, we love Disney and we love Marvel and we just love each other. Give me that pizza. Yay, we're going to another dinner. We get to have a concert. Oh, yay. Oh, boy, that's it. It would be funny if it couldn't end in murder.
There's many of us who are concerned about Gypsy Rose being seen as some kind of influencer for young women and girls. Her crazy antics to stay relevant on social media. Her dances she did for Nick in those crazy videos going viral. Phrases like Gyp Hip, the Gypstein Files, gonna gypsy my mom. Then there's that we listen and we don't judge skit where she says that she went to prison for 8 years for killing her mom. And there's so much more. There are a lot of content creators making a lot of money covering Gypsy 24/7.
I'm your mom.
I'm your dad.
And you are a girl.
And now she has a baby. I reached out to Greene County Prosecutor Dan Patterson's office for comment or interview. I did not hear back.
Shocking.
The Toll Podcast is a production of The Toll LLC. Creator, investigator, host, and audio producer, Nancy Simpson. Executive producer, Pamela Shelby. Original intro and recording by Jay Lashley. Music by Fesleyan Studios. Get updates on our social media and at our website, thetollpodcast.com. Thank you for listening to The Toll. Like, rate, share.
Okay, but here's my question. The one thing he said was, did it matter? I think I had stepped out,
This
but
program documents actual homicide investigations, criminal charges.
he said, did it matter if she was more involved with the actual kill? Well, yeah, it does, because you said Nick's sentence is exactly what it should be because he was responsible for the actual kill. He said that earlier. So if she did actually take part in stabbing Dee Dee, does it matter now? He said. No, in the beginning, Nick got what he deserved because he did the actual kill. That was his words. But towards the end, she mentioned about, Gypsy being involved in the chatter. And he said that he really didn't see it making a difference in the sentence part because even if she would have helped stab, he didn't see what it would matter. She would still have gotten the same sentence, and he's happy with the sentence that she got. I mean, I wouldn't say he's happy that anybody gets 10 years for murder, okay? But he's not mad at the sentence she got. Okay, if he's in prison for life without the possibility of parole because he actually stabbed her, why is it not the same for her? Why did you not make sure those 4 stab wounds that went in the pattern of a left-handed person, why didn't you make sure there wasn't 2 stabbers, 2 jabbers? Why wasn't that made sure of? Why wasn't the evidence looked into further? And hey, can you confidently say there was a right-handed and a left-handed person who did this? Because there's a right-handed pattern and a left-handed pattern. But if it did come out that she did help stab Dee Dee, do you guys think that makes a difference? Because I do. I do. Because the whole thing is, well, he did the actual kill. I didn't. And I disagree with that. I 1000% believe she helped stab Dee Dee. So I don't know. I disagree with him saying that because he's in he's in jail, prison for life without parole. She got 10 years, did 8, and is already out having a baby, is a rock star, just like he said, and she is repeating the same patterns, manipulation, and lies. So here's what I think. I think at the end of the day, he's covering up the mistakes that his police department made, and I think he knows that. I think he will never admit they screwed that up. Most people won't. Even if they have an innocent man in prison, they will not admit they made a mistake and say, oh, he's innocent. Like, it takes years and outside lawyers to come in and prove their innocence because they don't want to get sued, probably. But I think that if Gypsy, either way, in most cases, even if she wouldn't have touched her and stabbed her, in most cases that you see, the person who plotted it, planned it, manipulated, and he admits Nicholas was manipulated by Gypsy to do it. She manipulated him. And his autism was never spoke about. And I think that should be spoke about. Why is it that she manipulated an autistic kid who really had a mental disability, and she pretended to have a mental disability, but yet manipulated him to take her mother out? Her sentence should have been harsher than his. And if you're basing it just on, okay, he did the stabbing, then her sentence should be too. You should have made sure of it. Just because he admitted it and said he stabbed her, okay, she lied, and she's still lying. I just disagree with that. Yeah, and you know what? He said none of that would ever, Taco, none of that's ever going to matter now. Like, I mean, the fraud, the scamming, and all of that, because she was an adult when it happened, all of that doesn't matter. He believes that, her teeth were pulled out because Dee Dee said so. This sheriff just said that in this podcast. He believes her teeth fell out because Dee Dee took her to the dentist and made them pull it out because she forced her to take medicine, and it made her hair and teeth fall out. Even though her hair wasn't falling out, it was shaved. Oh my God, I'm going to go crazy. Yeah. They didn't care. He just didn't care. I agree. She got off easy. I agree, Edna. I think they messed up and botched the entire investigation. They took Nick's word because, hey, he said, okay, yeah, I stabbed her. And they're like, oh, hey, we got a confession. That's all we need. That is all most police departments and cops need is a confession, and they're done. That's it. Nothing else was looked into. He couldn't even tell you if her microdeletion had been brought to the district attorney or the prosecution before she got her plea deal. He couldn't even tell you when that came into play. Oh my God. Hey Sharon, how are you? Yeah. I think he's just covering up their mistakes. I truly think he thinks that Gypsy is a psychopath, allegedly. He definitely thinks she's committing the same exact manipulative, scamming, conning activities that led her up to the murder. Though he said that she's doing the exact same thing that led up to her being in prison. It's repeating. He said it's on repeat. So, and he doesn't like her. He thinks she's not a rock star. Neither do we. She is not a rock star, y'all. Yeah, I agree with that, Ruth. Oh my gosh. I agree with a lot of what he said. I do. I admit that. Now, do I think Dee Dee might have scammed? I do. I do think that they scammed together. But that's not Munchausen, which is what he made it sound like. I do think Dee Dee did scam him. I'm sorry, but it doesn't justify or make her look like a murderer. And if you want my opinion, I think Gypsy manipulated her mother from the time she was old enough to see. She got more attention from being sick. She manipulated her mother more and more. That's just my opinion. I think Dee Dee figured it out. I don't think Dee Dee didn't know a lot of stuff. I don't think Dee Dee went from 6 years old until she was 19. How old would that be? 13 years? No. I don't think Dee Dee went 13 years and didn't know Gypsy could walk. No. Yes, they did want to. They wanted to continue. They did, Poncho, but they shut it down and said they were done. It is what it is, y'all. I think he showed it right there. We're never going to get answers the way we think we are. It's never going to happen. And she's pretty much gotten away with murder. And that's just, we have to deal with it because nothing's going to happen. Nothing else is going to come of it. And I never thought she would. I just thought maybe Nick would at least have a fair trial because him saying HBO being released before he went to like court and had his trial didn't sway the public or the jury is a lie. He knows that's a lie. It would sway them. I don't care. If the public, if the news and documentaries and television, if none of that swayed the jury, why do they ask the jury panel when they're choosing them if they knew about the case, if they had watched anything about the case, read about the case? It does sway your opinion. And especially when the Munchausen theory came out, the opinion of the public changed. It flipped overnight. Yeah. Oh, he is. I agree, Brandy. He is. But I do think from what. No, she didn't learn her lesson. I do agree. I was just getting ready to say that. I do feel like something will happen that she will reoffend. Oh, let me show you guys something really fast. I seen it on Pink Chihuahua. Autumn was live with Case last night on TikTok. So let me get that really fast. Hold on a second. I want to show it to you because she explains a few things, but all the stuff we went over yesterday about the text messages, she has an explanation for it. And I was going over the video that Sheena did, putting out all of Autumn's pics. I think I'm just going to put Sheena's face, like make it really big, just seeing Sheena's face so that I just don't want to show anything, period. I don't even want to show her phone being put up. And I know Renee probably has everything already blurred out completely, but I just do not want anything in my video at all. So I just want you guys to hear. She did put those photos out. Bree was yelling at her because a lot of people don't believe Sheena did it. No, she did it. A lot of people are saying, did anybody really see those photos? Oh, yeah, we did. There was little blur like little itty bitty circles that was like, it barely covered what area it needed to cover. It was barely covered. But let me get Pink Chihuahua's video real fast because she caught it. And I just seen that a little bit ago after watching this. And I'm like, oh, at least we have her side now. So let me get that really fast for you guys. 1 second. Keep doing the wrong one. Oh, I have a little fan down here because I was burning up yesterday. The batteries, I got to charge it, but the battery's probably dead. It was like down here, face it right at me. My AC works though. I don't need it. Okay. There she is. Let me find it. Where is it? I just saw it. Oh, here it is. Okay. Let me get it too. So this is from Pink Chihuahua, guys. And she got this. So let's make sure I credit her. I don't want to leave nobody out. Okay. I'm going to start it. And I've already watched it, but I'm going to start it. And Cameron wants me to get him some chocolate milk. So I'm going to go grab him chocolate milk really fast. You make sure it's playing. How come I don't hear nothing? What the heck? It is not playing. Oh, I'm an idiot. I muted it up here. You guys, I swear, it's a blonde day. It's a Mandy moment. I forget. I muted at the top of the.
What are you afraid of?
Okay, there's Miss Pink Chihuahua. Okay, here you go. Let me make you chocolate milk.
No defense to what was done. No, I mean, I agree with her for speaking up, but then she still supported it. But I give her all the crap.
Wait, let me take the speed down because they talk really fast. Let me go back to normal.
For saying she didn't want Sheena doing that.
That's why Sheena said she didn't tell nobody because she knew that they would tell her not to do that.
Then she
Yeah, they all play
the
along.
whole live up leading up to it.
That was gross. That live. I believe they all did.
They were trying to get Nellie. They were trying to do something to Nellie again.
Yeah, they wanted to play something of Nellie's.
Right, Ann? Didn't Sheena put up an update? Oh, so and so are on the
She was trying
chopping
to do
block
something
tonight.
to Nellie, and she couldn't bring up the video or something, so she moved on to Autumn.
Yeah, Sheena's ridiculousness has gone out of control. I don't know what's wrong with that woman. Is this her first time ever having friends in her lifetime?
It's the free on ice.
Yeah.
First time when she allegedly she unalived her husband or ex-husband.
Oh, I don't believe
yeah, this might be her first time having alive friends. If you think about it, because that was her husband that she allegedly went to prison for. So, yeah.
I'm tired.
Whatever you're into, get it don't make me for you. Whatever you're into, oh, you like that? Get it don't make me for that. Oh, you like that? Get it don't make me for that. Oh, that's what you do. Get it don't make me for you. Oh, that's what you do. Get it don't make me for you.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know the truth about her past, and honestly, for me, it's background extra stuff. I don't really care, because when people show you who they are in their present time, that's who I'm looking at. I don't give a shit what anybody did in the past, to be honest. I don't, unless you're like a P3DO or something real wild that I need to
jabbed
know
your mama
about.
to death.
Yeah. Unless you're a P3DO or something I need to know about.
Exactly.
You took your mama out.
So did they already talk about Sheena eating flesh? I just want to know. Because Sheena was eating human meat, they said. Did they already talk about that? I don't know. Did they? But Sheena likes to rage bait too, y'all. So. Oh. Yeah. Okay, let me see.
Something
Hold
something
on.
crazy that
Wait, Case isn't on here. Am I on the? This is the right one? This isn't the right one. All right,
don't
hold
care.
on.
He said those words. I don't care.
I heard him.
No. Did she remove it? Hold on. This is not the right one, you guys. I'm sorry. I feel awful now. Dang it. Let me just go. I'll go to my page because it's on there. I watched it earlier. Let me see if I can find it that way. Okay, this might be it.
You know, he gets off.
Yep, I found it.
Shoulder.
Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I had the wrong live up.
Okay.
Okay.
Not much. I haven't had a chance to read the
sorry.
message you sent, but I guess you had heard I was
my
mentioning
God.
some things. So I guess I came over here to clear the air.
Yeah. So I don't know what else was speaking about, but me specifically feel like the narrative was either misunderstood or being misconstrued because I told you they were already talking shit. That's why I didn't want you to say anything. And you said, fuck them and da-da-da. When Mimi's messaging me, oh, you going on Cases Live? When other people are messaging me, oh, I heard you going on Cases Live. That's why I didn't go on there. Because they're talking shit. And I told you I didn't want anybody to know that.
Let me clear what happened on that, right? So you messaged me. You said that, you know, you were down to join the panel. I was like, okay, cool. I sent a text telling Haiti, who usually comes on my panels. I was like, hey, I think Autumn's going to come up on panel today. And she was like, okay, cool. I'll be there. And then like 10 minutes later, I get a message from you saying, don't tell anybody. I'm like, okay, cool. I won't. And I, you know, I said something in private to her, but apparently she was on a live stream, I guess, when I had sent her that text, and she told people that you were coming on. So that's how that happened.
Okay. Yeah. Because it was literally like within a minute that, you know, I said I was going to do it, that they're like, oh, you're going on his live. You're going on his live. Someone sent me a voice like, please tell me you're not, or humor me and please tell me you're not going on Cases Live.
But what irritated me was that you were telling people that you said you never were coming up on my live stream. That's what irritated me, because I'm like, no, I mean, and also I didn't really understand why it needed to be a secret. I mean, you had been on my panel before, so it's
Right. Well, I told you why, because they were talking shit.
Well, they would have seen it anyways.
Yeah, but before, you know, like I don't need the drama of people like hitting me. Oh, you're going on Cases Live. Please tell me you're not going on Cases Live. Like that's already building up the drama. Like when I got on your live, I had just jumped on there on your YouTube channel. Nobody really knew I was coming. I didn't say anything. I just got on there and I got on there with y'all. That's totally different. And the way Mimi is, she spends everything. Everything.
Did you hear her? Mimi spends everything.
And that's why I didn't get on there. But I have already.
Did you hear her? She just said me. Did she say Sheena or Mimi? Because I heard her say that twice. So let me make sure that was the right person. But she does say Mimi spends everything.
Everything. And the way Mimi is,
yeah, Mimi.
She spends everything. Everything.
I did show you guys that text yesterday where Mimi was like, I'm so happy for you that you're out. Please live your best life, blah, blah, blah. But I know a lot of us were like happy for Gypsy initially, right? Most of us were, I mean, maybe not most of us, but some of us were like, oh, I'm glad she's free from being out of that horrible, abusive situation that she was never in. But Gypsy decides to send Mimi the entire text conversation to put out on TikTok, of all people. Now, Sheena, Bree, and all them, they went at it with Mimi. I do know that. Sheena hates Mimi. I know that because I hear Sheena say it all the time. I hate Mimi. So I do hear that a lot. She is, Nikki.
And that's why I didn't get on there. But I have already cleared that up. I said the reason I didn't go on your panel was because I told you not to say anything because they were talking shit, and it still got said. But I've already cleared up that I did say I was going on there. I just chose not to because of the shit talking.
I don't know.
Okay, I mean, to me,
But
it's
not by
really
you,
that's
by everybody.
it's yeah. That, to me, at the end of the day, that's just a whole thing is just a nothing burger. Right? You know, it's very trivial at the end of the day. I don't think anybody gives a shit really. You know, no matter what. But yeah, you know, I don't know. There's I don't. Well, I don't even know if there was anything else I was going to ask you. Trying to think of what else I was going to ask you. I don't know. I don't know. But, you know, obviously, you know.
Hold on, let me go forward a little bit.
So I've said this before. I don't know if you've seen them, but Mimi knows because I told her specifically. I was having to play a role. The only reason I know about this headboard video.
So this is what I wanted you guys to hear. Hey, H squared. This is what I wanted you to hear. The reason why she was talking to Gypsy like that in the text, supporting her, saying, your family comes first. Everything that Gypsy put out, Autumn is saying she had to do that. She had to play a role or she was never going to get the information. I don't know. Do you really, Sharon? I think it's weird that they're pushing her for it. I do, because I don't really care. At this point, the blanket video I'm shocked that Nancy didn't ask Sherriff Arnott what his opinion is on that. I would have showed him the video and asked his opinion. Do you really think now she didn't actually take physical part in killing her mother? When this is her response over her thinking Ken is talking to a girl or found a card or brought up the ex into a conversation. Because I would love to know what his thoughts would be on her, you know, stabbing, jabbing, slicing, and dicing a blanket. That she said this is what she thought about Ken. Oh. And see, you could be right, Watchdog. I know. So as far as the headboard video, I don't care if one comes out or not. I think with you, the blanket video is proof enough that she's not changed. She is that aggressive, dangerous, manipulative person that Sherriff Arnott said that she is. He does think she's manipulative. He does think she's repeating the same patterns and that she's basically doing exactly what she did before she led up to the murder. He said it, and he's a sheriff. Oh, agreed. And you could be right, too. I just wanted to show you guys this really fast because we talked about it yesterday, and we went over the text messages, and I just wanted to be fair.
Is because I'm in the loop, right? And if I lose that, I don't see Aurora, I don't see Kenan, I don't have any information, I don't know if they're okay. So yeah, I'm over there playing nice to them so that I'm not, being told to fuck off and blah blah blah. So I was trying not to lose it.
If I may counter that with saying what you just said right now, they're going to hear that and they're going to know that you're only playing nice to get information.
Well, now I'm not playing. Now we're not cool. Now my snoods have been leaked, and
Yes, no, and I'm so sorry for that. Listen, I am. I hope that you did go to the police.
I went, yeah, local police and FBI.
Okay, good. You have to.
Yeah.
So that's so. You know, and I'm very sorry that happened. That doesn't. Nobody deserves that. It's humiliating. It's. But that's obviously how they play it.
What do you want, Kate? She wants to talk to Case.
Yeah. Well, she can wait. She was just talking to him, so.
Okay, let me ask you this then, and I'm trying to be completely, listen, I'm not a mean person, so, there's a lot of things said about me, and 99% of them are not true, but what about, I don't know, this is what I don't understand, is that it went from, and not just you, other people as well, but it went from, I have the video, I don't have the video,
2 hours.
I do have the video, can't post it. Do you have a video of the headboard incident?
Yes, I've said that. And I've come clean and I've said, when I said I was going to release it, I did feel like my back was like against the wall and everybody's like, release it, release it, release it, release it. And I came out and I said, I have second thoughts. I don't want to release it. I've told you privately some reasons why. And I just don't want to release it.
But don't you think, in all honesty though, I mean, okay, let me ask you this. Is the video pretty violent in nature?
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty violent in nature. It's not towards anybody. It's towards an object.
It's not towards anybody. It's towards an object. So is the blanket. And she's not dumb. If she does decide to do something, she's going to have somebody do it for her. This chick doesn't do anything on her own.
No, yeah, I get that. But
it's just humiliating. It would be humiliating. I'm pretty sure she did not have a plan for that blanket video to get out. And if that blanket video had not got out, maybe we'd be having a different conversation. Maybe that video I would have released. But it's Aurora at the end of the day, right?
I don't know if you heard this, but I was just on, I think it was Mimi's panel, and I came across a photo. Somebody took a selfie with Gypsy 6 days ago at a movie theater. They'd gone to go see Scary Movie. And I messaged this person, and anyways, they told me that Gypsy told them that the blanket video was a skit that she was working on. That there was, and I don't know what that means. She didn't elaborate. I was like, a skit.
I hate to interrupt you, Case.
Yeah, I hate to interrupt
1 second. Hold on.
Yeah.
Morbid's in the chat.
Put it on there?
Morbid's in the chat. I could put it. Hold on. I want to take care of this. Morbid's in the chat. Morbid, I don't know what you want over here. Don't really care. As soon as he says something, I want my mods to mute him. He's not to say anything in here.
Right.
What you need me to put
They're like, Morbid, no.
I was just saying, did you not see Gypsy's response to her blanket video where she was apologizing for it?
No, I get that. Like, I tried to understand what she.
Wait, what?
I was like, well, if it was a skit, where's the punchline? Because this was, we're talking. This has been up now for a couple of weeks, so
exactly. And she apologized for it, saying it was, older and and behind the scenes. That was the episode that got her I guess she went and got on her mood stabilizers behind. So it's not a skit.
No, of course not. No, but I just have questions when it comes to all of this, because it just, I do feel as though that there is a part of all of this that is intentional. I think that the stuff that comes out is because they want it to come out. I think that Gypsy, even now.
That's hilarious.
She's only going to make money by being the locale that she really is. Actually, she's not even a locale. She's just a convicted murderer. But, that's just what she's going to have to play into.
Right. And I think that if people pay attention, all leading up to, because I think it was a week or 4 to 5 days before I actually made the confirmation that video had happened, she didn't say shit. And she didn't have a problem. And she didn't, nothing changed until I came out and said that this actually happened. Then all of a sudden, this isn't true. This blanket video comes out. All of this stuff. She is going balls hard because she knows it's the truth.
What do you think about, I did a live stream yesterday where I was really trying to bring to light and put a spotlight on the types of people that she has recruited to do her online bidding for her. I tried to go through them, one by one. It's pretty hard when you're on the live stream, but they're all dangerous, and especially her latest recruit. We all know his long documented history. He's here watching right now because he's a loser. He gets off.
He's
on
a loser,
doxing children.
baby.
Gets off on doxing
kill
children.
me. No, don't
There's
say
lame
that
prank
song
calls,
because
but
she'll
that's
take
okay
it
because
literal.
It's being handled, but it's that is a direct reflection of Gypsy Rose, and I really do wish.
Oh wait, what do you mean,
that
Sharon?
it really bothers me when you see her doing these interviews.
What do you mean, Sharon? When Autumn got blocked, it changed. What changed? The video to a photo? Is that what you mean? I just want to see. I want your opinion on that.
Was pretending to be this, victim, saying all the right things. She's so slick, but meanwhile, look at the people that she has recruited and enlisted and mobilized into this army to do her fighting, doxing creators, doing what they did to you, intimidation tactics. You're never going to silence anybody from discussing this case. You're just not.
Exactly. And I don't know if anybody caught Keisha's live this morning. It was like 3:00 in the morning, but Sheena was up there talking about how she really has eaten human meat. And she's got videos and pictures of it, and how regular meat just doesn't bother her, or she doesn't like it, and she could watch an autopsy while eating a steak, and that is not normal.
What the flip?
None of them are. And why?
Did you hear that? Sheena really has eaten human meat. And she can eat a steak watching an autopsy. I really don't care, but what? If she's not rage baiting, dude, I don't know. I thought she just wanted to try it. What? If you eat human meat, it does something to your brain. You start shaking. Let's see if Sheena is shaking a lot in her videos. If she is, she's eating people. She's just gross. I agree, Sharon. The meaty brownie. I agree. She is a troll. That's why I said she's rage baiting. I don't really, because then she's going to go on later and say, I don't know where people got to eat human meat from, that I want to taste human flesh. She does this. She does it with, the last time it was her killing somebody, and that's been over, and she's like, I don't know where that came from. You, Sheena, you put it out there and rage bait and troll people, and then when they say something, you try to act like a victim. You're like, oh, they're doxing me. It is diabolical. It's diabolical. Yes, scandalous. All attention.
Why is Gypsy allegedly spending 2 nights at Bree's house? What's up with that? Why did anybody volunteer to stay at the trap house?
Exactly. And Ken is on a work trip. I don't know if he's back yet, but he was, because when this whole snooze thing was going down, he tried to, I guess, contact Gypsy and contact Sheena, and he couldn't get a hold of Sheena. And I guess Gypsy told him she was asleep, or she was acting asleep, and she was awake at Bree's house.
We are.
Well, but that also didn't make sense. Did she bring Aurora to Bree's?
And I just literally went over the entire podcast of the sheriff, who was the sheriff of the Greene County Sheriff's Department when the case, happened. We do. There have been several petitions made to get her off the internet. There has been misbehaving. She has done her own petitions to get Gypsy off the internet. It doesn't matter if we talk about her or not. It really doesn't. If it's not us, it's going to be somebody. And what I want to keep pointing out is that she's making money off of her victim. I don't agree with that. I don't think that's okay. I don't think it's okay. She's glorified. She's a murderer. She lies. I do not think she should be allowed to have social media when that's exactly how she planned the entire murder of her mother. That's just my opinion. So now we have at least Dom and Davion's Law, which doesn't happen overnight. It's not going to 100K people or a million people sign that petition and the next day it takes effect. That's not how it works. It has to go through a state level. It has to be pushed through there and then pushed to a federal level before it can take over for every state. And that would kind of replace the Son of Sam law. And Gypsy Rose would never be allowed to profit on social media again. She won't get on here and troll everybody and act the way she does and lie and start drama. She won't do that because she can't make money from it and she's not going to be famous. She, in her live yesterday, said her and the fam have been talking about, a new possibility of, if a new opportunity comes along, not with Lifetime or Life After Lockup, but doing a new show. Okay. So, me too, Poncho. Me too. But, I mean, the only thing I can say is that if somebody sees my videos and they're this total like, oh my God, she's such a victim, blah, 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 blah. And they look at the evidence that me or somebody else, but if it changes one person's mind, I feel like for that day or even that week or that month, it's worth it. I'm sorry. That's my only goal is to stop getting people to glorify this murderer who's manipulating, lying, and fooling millions of people because she's not a victim. The sheriff said she's not a victim too. He's not going to admit they messed up that case, but in the beginning and the end, his real feelings are there. And he said it's disgusting that she's on social media and doing these shows. I agree. So again, as long as at least one person can look through this and be like, oh my God, I didn't know that happened. Is this real? Is that the evidence? And if you don't believe me, go to Into the Weeds, go to the More section, click on that, and you can get the Google Drive, and you can go through all the FOIA evidence on your own. It's a lot to go through. It's overwhelmingly a lot to go through. But at the end of the day, if one person is like, oh my God, I believed her, I thought she was abused, and it changes their mind, I feel like that's good enough for me right now until something like Dom and Davion's Law comes up. That's just for me and my point. I don't know about other creators. I don't know. I just talk about it. I commentate on this stuff and the FOIA evidence. I'll put it out. I'm not perfect. These are just what I researched on my own, came to my conclusion, and I encourage you all to do the same. And I'm still going to push that people stop glorifying her. And hopefully we do get Dom and Davion's Law pushed to a federal level, and Gypsy will not be able to profit ever again off of her victim. I think it's a shame that anybody can profit off of their victim. That angers me more than anything. And that she uses our trauma. I'm tired of her using stories from other people's traumas that really went through some of the lies she puts out. I can't stand that. And I can't stand that she's accused 3 people of rape and admittedly said it. Oh, yeah, that didn't happen. She lied about it. And that's okay. People just overlook it. People are okay that she offered up her 13-year-old daughter. Okay. People overlook that. She's overlooked abuse. She's lied about being abused physically. It goes back and forth. Oh, I was physically. Oh, no, I wasn't physically abused. It was just more mental abuse. She makes real victims triggered. That's all I'm going to say. She triggers me, and I can't help it because she has lied about several things that happened to real victims, and when they do speak about it, they're blamed or they're called liars because of people like her. Let's not forget the last thing that I really can't stand. She blamed a 13-year-old, and at the time she was 23 years old. She was 23 when she said this. That 13-year-old deserved what she got because she allowed a man online to groom her. And she was kidnapped, raped, and more. She wasn't murdered, though. She lived. But Gypsy said she got what she deserved. She wanted it. She shouldn't have been acting the way she was. Let's not forget that now. That little girl got what she asked for. She deserved it. This is the real Gypsy Rose. I just want to show the real Gypsy Rose. Mm-hmm. Dude, y'all crazy. I love y'all. Oh, I love y'all.
I don't think she. I don't know. I don't think so. I think someone watched her.
Well, it seems like that's always the case. That
yeah,
it's always somebody watching her.
Yeah, I was getting there, Lamian, but this is my life, so.
But I don't. Yeah, why are you spending the night at? Also, why has Ken not publicly defended you?
I cannot answer why Kenan hasn't. The only thing I can think of is he's on a work trip.
Ken works a lot.
That being said, we haven't really gotten into how deep our family dynamic is. But it's not like we're, how do I put it? This is like, he's going to have to go against his child's mother. And so maybe that's why he's having some hesitations, because it's not like we're in a position where Kenan could just take Aurora and nip.
Well, the thing is, though, he's not going against Gypsy. He'd be
that's what I mean.
Against Sheena.
Well,
and Rodine. Like, that's like, how has he not said anything?
I agree with Case on this. I agree with him.
I don't have to say anything about Gypsy.
Yeah, I didn't look at it that way.
I mean, that's if that was like, if you were my sister, you best believe I'm cutting out 10 toes down, guns blazing. Like,
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't have the answer as to why yet. Are my feelings a little bothered? Yeah, because I just don't know. I'm hoping it's just because he really is focusing on work. But again, like you said, and like I've been, I haven't let people talk shit about him. Like, I would defend his honor, and don't know why he's not doing the same. I do know Gypsy is really good at manipulating. And so that morning that she sent me those texts, and I don't care. She sent me those texts. There's no way that she didn't, because she flipped it out and was like, I guess she told Kenan about it. And Kenan messaged me and he's like, are these really, did you send these to yourself? And I basically like messaged him and long spiel and was like, dude, I don't know what else to tell you to convince you. But you really think that I did that?
Here's the thing. I don't think Ken cares, and I agree with you, Watchdog. I think we should be done with Autumn at this point. I don't mean it in a bad way. I don't mean it in a negative way. But I really, truly think that it's making Gypsy look better. Does that make sense? Like, I don't think this is a good, I don't know. I feel like it just takes away from Gypsy psychopath. No, I don't think, I just don't think there's much more we can get from Autumn. They all have her blocked. They're not talking to her. Ken doesn't care about her, or he would never have let Morbid or anybody disrespect her that way, Sheena. And they're defending Sheena. So what more can she do? But she said she wants to drop it and just go to her poem. So I would think maybe if everybody just dropped it, they can work on their family dynamic behind the scenes, and she can work on her poems. And she's not going to drop the headboard video. It's not going to happen. She's not going to do it because she knows it's going to piss Ken off and her mom. She's not going to do it. Oh, no. I'm talking about Autumn. No, I'm talking about Autumn. No, I'm just talking about Autumn. I think that she said in this live, she said she thinks content creators are angry with her because she didn't go to their panel. Because Key's like all over her at the end. Key is like, how many panels did you go on? I think Key is just calling out discrepancies and lies that she's done. And anyways, I don't know what Autumn said, but Autumn's like, I haven't been on that many panels, but she has been on a lot of panels, right? And she said she didn't ask for any follows. She didn't ask for the following and the views, but she did. She wanted to make content so that she can make money. She admits that. She shows the text where she said that. So that's kind of untrue too. That's but she thinks creators are just angry because she didn't go on their panel, and that's where it ends. I don't know if she's going to be able to make content that's not about Gypsy now. Does it really matter if Autumn doesn't truly care about Ken and Aurora? Why is that her responsibility? If it's her niece, I absolutely would be all over. I would hope it would be anybody's responsibility, even if you weren't family. If you had a child in a violent situation like that, that's scary. But evidently, the baby supposedly wasn't in the house when the blanket video happened. Do we know that for a fact? No. But yeah, I mean, whatever. I think that is very unstable behavior. And it's not just a blanket video, it's a headboard video and allegedly other situations that she has acted out in an aggressive manner.
And that's when the conversation changed. It's like, she does this
I agree,
shit,
Mama.
and I don't know
either.
if she's doing it on purpose or what her end game is. But I didn't make no fucking messages. Like, I have one device. Apparently, I didn't know until that day that you can message yourself on your own device. I didn't know you could do that. I wouldn't. That it's your phone.
She's saying that she doesn't. She's saying she doesn't have much time.
I can drop it if you guys want. Yeah, I can drop it.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that. I'm just waiting.
Well, wasn't she just on the live talking?
Drop me.
But she didn't drop it. It wasn't her that dropped it. I don't know who it was. It was somebody named Two Fingers. Maybe it was her alt account. I don't know. But whoever leaked the blanket video and the headboard video, which we went over yesterday, it's Christy. It can only be Christy. Gypsy said it came from her side and her family. It's not Sheena, Ryan, anybody like that, but it's from her family, her side. So it's Christy. Whoever was babysitting Aurora, that's who dropped the videos. Agreed, Bean.
Whatever.
But this is on Pink Chihuahua.
I was just filling up.
I've been on here 2 hours. You guys can go to Pink's channel and listen to it. It's almost over. She didn't. I don't know if she's gonna post more of it. If she recorded the rest of it, I don't know. I just seen that today because it went along with what we spoke of yesterday, and that's her side of it. She's just claiming that they're lying. I don't know, and I don't care. I know, Sharon. It was pimp juice. I do love that because she's angry that she's not the matron of honor, but she said she's not jealous because she's getting asked or getting engaged this year or sometime. Well, we're 6 months into the year. You still don't have an engagement ring, Gypsy. I'm just saying. Probably, but I will say I saw her in Ryan's live from Foxy Babe and Renelle today. She has been in Ryan's live every night since Saturday, and she's his number 3 top gifter every time. She's throwing gifts constantly at Ryan. Why? I don't know. Clout, probably. If she talks to Ryan and they start talking and dating, and Ryan told her to call him. So if you want my honest opinion, I think behind the scenes, her and Ryan are talking right now. That's just my opinion. She is in his live every night the rowing gifts, and she's always in the top 3. It'll bring her a ton of views. That's all I know. Oh, I disagree. I agree with you, Lola. It absolutely is Rod and Krista's and Raina's and Ken's responsibility. It's not, it shouldn't just be put up to Autumn. I'm not disagree. I don't disagree with that at all. They're not going to do it. They're all overlooking it and patting Gypsy on the back and saying, oh, her behavior is normal because she's a victim and what she went through. She's trying to, work through her freakouts and get therapy. We just got to be patient with her. When they all know that's just how she is. They do it for money. That's all I can figure out. They do it for money. They say she's hurting for money. I don't think Ken will marry her either, but I would love to see it. I absolutely would love to see Ken marry Gypsy just so I can see that fall apart and crumble right in front of our face. I'm here for it because that it would never last. He does not love that girl. He can say it and put it out here. He might defend her 24/7. I just do not believe he loves her. He's with her for the baby at this point and money, maybe. I don't know. I don't believe he works that much. He just don't look like he has it in him. Oh, God. Oh, gosh. Agreed, Sharon. Yeah, same. That would be awesome, Watchdog. Yes. Oh, I'm just saying I don't believe it'll work. And I think her karma will play out online and that marriage. Either he's going to leave her and go back to somebody, but rumors are he's already cheated on her and his ex said he cheated on her, which we know that. He was talking to Gypsy. He left her. It wasn't amicable. They didn't just amicably break up. He left her to go to Gypsy because she blew up. And in not prison confessions, life after lockup. He said he never in a million years would he thought Gypsy would have blown up that much. They all love the attention. I can't get it. I don't know. Now, I've seen her. She's pretty, y'all. She's a pretty girl. I mean, like, way pretty. I'm shocked. Because even look at it this way. Just, oh my God. Just if you looked at looks alone, I am confused, beyond confused, how Ken dumped her for Gypsy. Or either she caught him actually talking to Gypsy and she broke it off with him and will not have anything to do with him. That's what I heard. I have seen her photo. She is a beautiful girl. I mean, if you compare her to Gypsy, I'll put it to you like this. She's like a, let me think of somebody really pretty. Okay. I don't know. I don't want to put anybody she looks like, but like I don't know. We'll just say like Farrah Fawcett. She was a sex icon, beautiful, just, but picture a girl next door, and then you put Gypsy Rose right beside of her. Don't put personalities into it yet or anything like that. Just looks alone before plastic surgery while she's in prison. And you're going to choose Gypsy Rose over this, I don't know, beautiful woman who has a career, seems like she has her head on her shoulders, great person, it seems like, naturally just beautiful girl. But then let's take in the personalities. Gypsy's a murderer. She's not. So she already has the looks and the beauty, and she's not a killer. You chose Gypsy Rose. Make that make sense to me, because I'm not getting it. Grandma looking ass. I do, Nikki. I do believe that now, Watchdog. I do believe he's only there for that reason right now. But he said, and Gypsy's jealous because he doesn't say I know she's found him looking at their videos and photos on his phone. She's found old cards, messages, hairbrushes, right? She's very jealous of this ex. I can see why. But he doesn't ever console her as far as saying he doesn't want her. His response is she won't have anything to do with me. There's never going to be anything, between us again because she would never speak to him or have anything to do with him again. It's not, I don't want her. He don't ever make Gypsy feel confident. Does that make sense? Like, even in Life After Lockup, he said that she doesn't want anything to do with me. Not, oh, you don't have to worry, Gypsy. I would never go back to her. She doesn't want anything to do with me. I believe maybe if she did have contact with him again, that he would leave Gypsy and go back to her. Oh. But she's smart. She wants nothing to do with him. Nothing. She has cut him out of her life completely. But I will say she is a very beautiful girl. Like, really pretty. Oh, he does. I want to come to New Orleans, Ruby. You're going to show me New Orleans? I don't know if I had the nerve to go to New Orleans. It seems so busy. Oh. But I would love to go see the cemetery there. I love seeing it in movies. I know, right, Sharon? Good for her. I'm so glad. Brunette wigs on back order in Louisiana. Oh my gosh, that reminded me. I got to check my email. I didn't have an email from Pat's Pajamas. She wanted that wig that I was giving away. See, it makes me nervous too. All right, you guys, I'm going to hop off here. It's 9:15. I swear it just goes so quick when we're on here. It is crazy to me. Go finish watching Pink Chihuahua's live so you guys can, this is from, when was this? 2 days ago. So you guys go watch her. Finish watching it there. I don't know if she put any more of it up. There might be another video after, but I was listening to it today on my way home and seeing it. So, and I'm tired. And I got to go put my plants back up. I had to move them because we had a storm come through. It does, Nikki. Aloha. I love you. Say aloha. I miss Oahu. Just to visit, though. I like living here in Florida. Good night, Sharon. Good night, you guys. Oh, thank you, Mama. You guys are so sweet. Thank you. I appreciate you guys, all of you, just being here. I promise. I do. Chrissy T, all the media were saying Gypsy could do so much better. I think Christy did have a lot of sway in that, but Gypsy never liked Ryan. She was never going to stay with him ever. All right, good night, you guys. I love you. I am going to bed tonight. I'm tired. This week has been crazy, and it's going to be so hot tomorrow. Oh, my God. Y'all stay cool because it's a scorcher here. I am. I have to wait, though. I have to wait, but I think I can do it. I think it's next week. I got to see. I have to wait a little bit longer, but I can fix them. I figured it out. All right. I love you guys. Good night. I'll see you tomorrow. If anything pops up new, I'll try to update you and post it. Gypsy Roses. Thank you, Watchdog. Oh, I'm going to go to bed laughing, so. True that. Good night, Hollow. Good night, Mama. Y'all have a great night. I'm going to go change. I'm skipping a shower until in the morning. I'm going to do a Gypsy, okay? I admit it. Are you? You getting the wind? Hey, I love the breeze as long as it ain't knocking everything over, but it's fierce here. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad y'all are. See, you're making friends. All right. I'll see you guys later. Good night.